Hi everyone, welcome to Cartoonology. I hope you're all doing well. Today I want to argue that SpongeBob SquarePants offers genuine life lessons that viewers of all ages can carry forward into their own lives. By examining how SpongeBob finds joy in everyday tasks, how he never gives up on his goals, how he stays true to himself, and how he learns from his mistakes, we can understand why this show has taught millions of people how to approach life with enthusiasm and resilience. But before we begin, I'd just like to kindly ask you all to subscribe. It's completely free, and it really helps us improve the videos for this wonderful community we've managed to build. Anyway, that's enough. Let's begin. Find joy in the everyday. SpongeBob SquarePants wakes up every single day excited to be alive. That is not an exaggeration. It is literally what happens in the show. He opens his eyes and he is ready to go. He is ready to flip Krabby Patties. He is ready to see his friends. He is ready to do whatever the day brings. And the amazing thing is that SpongeBob is not doing anything special most of the time. He is not going on adventures to distant lands. He is not fighting villains or saving the world. He is just living his normal life. But he treats that normal life like it is the best thing that ever happened to him. This is the first lesson SpongeBob teaches. Find joy in the everyday. Find happiness in the tasks you do over and over. Find meaning in the routines that other people think are boring. Let me give you an example. In the episode Pizza Delivery, SpongeBob and Squidward have to deliver a pizza to a customer. That is the whole plot. They are delivery guys for one episode. Most people would think that sounds boring. Squidward definitely thinks it is boring. He complains the entire time. He is annoyed that he has to walk so far. He is annoyed that they are lost. He is annoyed that SpongeBob is acting excited. But SpongeBob does not see it that way. For him, delivering a pizza is an adventure. He makes up a song about it. The Krusty Krab pizza song becomes this joyful celebration of their job. He treats the pizza like it is precious cargo. When they are walking through the desert and Squidward is ready to give up, SpongeBob keeps going. He stays positive. He stays focused on the goal. And when they finally get to the customer's house, SpongeBob is so proud of what they accomplished. He is proud that they delivered the pizza. He is proud that they did their job well. And then the customer slams the door in his face because they forgot his drink. SpongeBob is crushed. He starts crying. He cannot believe that he let the customer down. Squidward, who has been complaining the whole time, suddenly feels bad for SpongeBob. He sees how much SpongeBob cared. He sees how seriously SpongeBob took the job. And even though Squidward is usually mean, he stands up for SpongeBob. He yells at the customer. He tells him that SpongeBob worked hard and deserves respect. He even throws the pizza in the customer's face. This episode shows you everything you need to know about finding joy in everyday tasks. SpongeBob did not have to care about delivering a pizza. Nobody would have blamed him if he treated it like a chore, but he chose to care. He chose to be proud of his work. And even when it went wrong, even when the customer was rude, SpongeBob's attitude made the experience meaningful. It made Squidward care. It turned a boring delivery into something that mattered. That is what SpongeBob does over and over again. He takes normal tasks and he makes them special by treating them with enthusiasm. When he is flipping Krabby Patties at the Krusty Krab, he is not just cooking burgers, he is making art. He is creating something that will make people happy. When he is cleaning the restaurant, he is not just mopping floors, he is making the place better. He is taking pride in where he works. You see this attitude in almost every episode. In Help Wanted, the very first episode of the series, SpongeBob is desperate to get a job at the Krusty Krab. Mr. Krabs does not want to hire him. He thinks SpongeBob is too young and too inexperienced, so he sends SpongeBob on an impossible task. He tells him to find a spatula with very specific features. Mr. Krabs thinks this will get rid of SpongeBob. He thinks SpongeBob will give up. But SpongeBob does not give up. He goes out and he searches for the spatula, and when he finds it, he comes back ready to work. Mr. Krabs gives him another impossible task. There are dozens of anchovies in the restaurant, all demanding food at the same time. Squidward is panicking. Mr. Krabs is panicking. Everyone thinks this is a disaster, except SpongeBob. SpongeBob sees this as an opportunity. He puts on his Krusty Krab hat and he gets to work. He cooks faster than anyone thought possible. He serves every single anchovy. He does it with a smile on his face. He is moving so fast that he becomes a blur. The anchovies are all satisfied. The restaurant is saved. And by the end of the episode, Mr. Krabs realizes that SpongeBob is not just good at his job. SpongeBob loves his job. That love makes him better at it than anyone else could be. This is not just a cartoon lesson. This is something you can apply to your real life. Most people go through their days doing things they think are boring. They go to work, they do their chores, they complete their assignments, and the whole time they are thinking about how much they wish they were doing something else. They are waiting for the exciting part of life to start. They are waiting for the weekend, or the vacation, or the big event. But SpongeBob teaches you that you do not have to wait. You can find joy right now in the thing you are doing today. You can choose to care about your work, even if it is not glamorous. You can choose to be proud of what you do, even if nobody is watching. You can choose to treat your everyday tasks like they matter, because they do matter. They matter to you. They matter to the people around you, and they shape who you are. Think about it this way. If you spend 8 hours a day at a job you hate, and you spend those 8 hours miserable, then you are spending a third of your life being miserable. That is a lot of time. But if you can find even small moments of joy in that job, if you can take pride in doing it well, then those 8 hours become something different. They become time well spent. SpongeBob shows you that your attitude shapes your experience. Squidward and SpongeBob work at the same restaurant. They do the same tasks. But Squidward is miserable and SpongeBob is happy. The difference is not the job. The difference is how they think about the job. In the episode Employee of the Month, this contrast becomes even clearer. SpongeBob has won Employee of the Month 26 months in a row. He is incredibly proud of this achievement. For him, winning Employee of the Month means he is doing a good job. It means his hard work is being recognized. It means he is making Mr. Krabs happy and serving customers well. Squidward does not care about Employee of the Month at all. He thinks it is a meaningless award. He thinks SpongeBob is stupid for caring so much. But then Squidward finds out that the Employee of the Month gets their picture on the wall and a little trophy. Suddenly, Squidward wants to win, not because he cares about doing a good job, but because he wants to beat SpongeBob. He wants to prove that he is better. So Squidward and SpongeBob compete. They try to outdo each other. They try to be the best employee. And at first, this seems like it might be good for the restaurant. They are both working harder than ever. But then the competition gets out of control. They start sabotaging each other. They stop caring about the customers. They stop caring about the job. All they care about is winning. The episode ends with both of them losing. Neither one wins Employee of the Month. And the reason they lose is because they forgot why the award exists. It is not about competition. It is not about beating someone else. It is about doing your job well because you care about the work itself. SpongeBob learns this lesson. He realizes that he was so focused on beating Squidward that he forgot why he loved working at the Krusty Krab in the first place. He loved it because it gave him purpose. He loved it because he was good at making Krabby Patties. He loved it because he was helping people. The award was nice, but the real reward was the work itself. This is an important point. Finding joy in everyday tasks does not mean you have to love every single moment. It does not mean you will never get tired or frustrated or bored. SpongeBob gets frustrated sometimes. He has bad days. There are episodes where he is exhausted or stressed or overwhelmed, but even on those days, he does not lose sight of why his work matters to him. In the episode Graveyard Shift, SpongeBob and Squidward have to work the night shift for the first time. The restaurant is open 24 hours. Squidward hates this. He complains constantly. He tells SpongeBob that working at night is going to be miserable. But SpongeBob finds a way to make it fun. He sings a song about the night shift. He treats it like a new adventure. He stays positive, even when there are no customers, and even when Squidward is being negative. And when Squidward starts telling a scary story about the hash-slinging slasher, a ghost who supposedly haunts the restaurant, SpongeBob gets scared. He is terrified. But he still shows up to work. He still does his job. That is what finding joy in the everyday really means. It means showing up even when things are hard. It means staying positive even when the situation is not ideal. It means finding small moments of happiness in tasks that other people think are meaningless. Now, I am not saying you should pretend to love something you hate. I am not saying you should stay in a bad situation and just smile through it. What I am saying is that you have more control over your experience than you think. You can choose to find the parts of your day that are good. You can choose to focus on what you are learning, or how you are helping, or what you are building. You can choose to treat your work like it matters. SpongeBob does not have an easy life. He has a boss who underpays him. He has a coworker who insults him. He has a neighbor who hates him. He fails his driving test over and over again. But SpongeBob wakes up every day excited to try again. He wakes up ready to flip more Krabby Patties, ready to see Patrick, ready to go to boating school. He does not let the hard parts ruin the good parts. And that is the lesson. The everyday moments are where most of your life happens. If you can find joy in those moments, if you can treat them with enthusiasm and care, then your whole life becomes better. You do not need to wait for something big to happen. You do not need a vacation or a promotion or a special event to be happy. You can be happy right now, doing the things you do every day. SpongeBob proves it. He is one of the happiest characters in all of television, and his life is incredibly ordinary. He works at a fast food restaurant. He lives in a small house. He has a simple routine. But he treats that routine like it is a gift, and because he does, it becomes one. So that is the first lesson. Find joy in the everyday. Care about your work. Be proud of what you do. Treat your normal life like it matters, because it does. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. SpongeBob's joy is contagious, but his resilience runs even deeper. And that's where the next lesson begins. Section 2. Never give up on your goals. SpongeBob SquarePants has failed his boating test more times than any character in television history. It is not even close. He has taken the test dozens of times, maybe hundreds. And every single time something goes wrong, he gets nervous, he panics, he crashes the boat, he freezes up, he forgets how to drive, he causes chaos, he fails. And every single time, he goes back and tries again. This is the second lesson SpongeBob teaches. Never give up on your goals, even when you fail over and over, even when it feels impossible, even when everyone else thinks you should quit. Keep trying. The boating school episodes are some of the most important episodes in the entire series because they show you what real perseverance looks like. Perseverance is not about succeeding on your first try. It is not about being naturally talented or never making mistakes. Perseverance is about failing and choosing to keep going anyway. Let me walk you through what happens in these episodes. SpongeBob wants his boating license more than almost anything. He talks about it constantly. He dreams about it. He practices. He studies. He takes the classes seriously. And when the test day comes, he is ready. Or at least, he thinks he is ready. But then he sits down in the boat and everything falls apart. His hands start shaking. His mind goes blank. He cannot remember what to do. And even though he knows how to drive, even though he has practiced 1,000 times, he panics. He makes a mistake. He fails the test. Mrs. Puff, his boating teacher, is exhausted. She has watched SpongeBob fail so many times that she is starting to lose hope. She thinks maybe SpongeBob is just not meant to drive. She thinks maybe he should give up. But SpongeBob never gives up. He comes back the next day, ready to try again. And the next day. And the day after that. In the episode Boating School, which is one of the earliest boating test episodes, we see exactly how this pattern develops. Mrs. Puff gives SpongeBob his test. She sits in the passenger seat. She has her clipboard ready. She is hoping that this time will be different. But as soon as the test starts, SpongeBob panics. He cannot control the boat. He crashes into buildings. He causes property damage. He puts people in danger. Mrs. Puff fails him immediately. She tells him he needs more practice. And SpongeBob is devastated. He goes home crying. He tells Patrick about his failure. Patrick, being a good friend, tries to help. He comes up with a plan. He will use a walkie-talkie to tell SpongeBob what to do during the test. He will guide him through every step. And it works. Sort of. Patrick tells SpongeBob when to turn, when to stop, when to go. SpongeBob follows the instructions perfectly. He aces the test. Mrs. Puff is amazed. She thinks SpongeBob finally figured it out. She is about to give him his license. But then she realizes SpongeBob was cheating. She hears Patrick's voice coming from the walkie-talkie. She sees that SpongeBob did not actually pass on his own, and she has to fail him again. This episode shows something important about perseverance. SpongeBob did not fail because he is stupid. He did not fail because he cannot learn. He failed because he gets in his own way. When he has help, when someone is guiding him, he can drive perfectly. The problem is his anxiety. The problem is his fear of failure, and that makes his perseverance even more impressive. SpongeBob knows why he fails. He knows that the problem is inside his own head. But he does not let that knowledge defeat him. He keeps showing up. He keeps trying. He keeps believing that one day he will be able to control his anxiety and pass the test on his own. There is an episode called Mrs. Puff, You're Fired, where Mrs. Puff actually gets fired because she cannot get SpongeBob to pass. The school brings in a new teacher who thinks he can do better. This new teacher is confident. He is experienced. He has taught thousands of students. He thinks Mrs. Puff just did not know how to teach SpongeBob properly. So the new teacher gets in the boat with SpongeBob. He gives him instructions. He stays calm. He encourages him. And at first, it seems like it is working. SpongeBob is driving. He is doing well. The new teacher is proud. He thinks he solved the problem. But then SpongeBob panics again. He crashes the boat. He causes chaos. He destroys part of the town. And the new teacher realizes that Mrs. Puff was not a bad teacher. SpongeBob is just incredibly difficult to teach. The new teacher quits. He leaves. He says he cannot do it. And Mrs. Puff comes back, because even though SpongeBob drives her crazy, she understands something important. SpongeBob is not going to quit, so she cannot quit either. This dynamic between SpongeBob and Mrs. Puff is fascinating. Mrs. Puff is tired. She is stressed. She has nightmares about SpongeBob crashing boats. She wishes he would just give up and leave her alone. But there is also a part of her that respects his determination. She has never had a student who tried as hard as SpongeBob. She has never had a student who cared as much. In the episode No Free Rides, this relationship reaches a breaking point. Mrs. Puff is so desperate to get rid of SpongeBob that she just gives him a passing grade, even though he crashed during the test. She cannot take it anymore. She wants him out of her class. So she lies and tells him he passed. SpongeBob is thrilled. He thinks he finally did it. He thinks he earned his license. And at first, everything seems fine. He gets his license. He drives around town. He is proud of himself. But Mrs. Puff cannot sleep at night. She feels guilty. She knows she made a mistake. SpongeBob is dangerous on the road. He is going to hurt someone. She cannot let him keep driving. So she tries to steal the boat back. She sneaks out in the middle of the night wearing a ski mask. She tries to take it from SpongeBob's house. But SpongeBob catches her. And even though Mrs. Puff is trying to do the right thing, even though she is trying to keep people safe, SpongeBob does not understand. He thinks she is a criminal. He thinks she is trying to steal from him. The episode ends with a wild chase scene. SpongeBob is driving the boat, trying to get away from Mrs. Puff. Mrs. Puff is chasing him, trying to take the boat back. And of course, SpongeBob crashes. The boat is destroyed. The police show up. Mrs. Puff gets arrested because she was wearing a ski mask and looks like a burglar. And SpongeBob finally understands what happened. He realizes Mrs. Puff gave him the license because she felt sorry for him. not because he actually passed. SpongeBob is devastated. He thought he finally achieved his goal, and now it is gone. The license is taken away. Mrs. Puff goes to jail briefly. Everything falls apart. But even after all of that, even after being tricked and failing again, SpongeBob does not quit. He goes back to boating school. He keeps trying. This is the lesson. Goals are hard, really hard. And most of the time, you are not going to achieve them on your first try. You are going to fail. You are going to make mistakes. You are going to feel like you are not good enough. But that does not mean you should stop. SpongeBob teaches you that perseverance is not about being perfect. It is about showing up. It is about trying again, even when you do not feel like it. It is about believing that you can get better, even when the evidence says otherwise. Think about your own life. Think about the goals you have. Maybe you want to learn a new skill. Maybe you want to get better at a sport. Maybe you want to pass a test or get a job or finish a project. Whatever it is, you are probably going to fail a few times before you succeed. You are probably going to have moments where you think it is too hard, moments where you want to give up. But SpongeBob shows you that those moments are normal. Everyone has them. Even the happiest, most optimistic character on television has moments where he fails. The difference is that SpongeBob does not let those moments stop him. He does not let failure define who he is. He just keeps going. There is another episode called Procrastination, where SpongeBob has to write an essay for boating school. He has plenty of time to do it. Mrs. Puff gives him the assignment and tells him it is due in a few days. But SpongeBob does not start right away. He tells himself he will do it later. He distracts himself. He cleans his house. He feeds Gary. He sharpens his pencils. He does everything except write the essay. And then, suddenly, it is the night before the essay is due, and he has not written anything. He panics. He sits down at his desk and tries to write, but nothing comes out. He is so stressed that he cannot think. He gets more and more anxious as the night goes on. He imagines all the terrible things that will happen if he does not finish. He pictures himself failing the class. He pictures Mrs. Puff being disappointed. He pictures his future falling apart. The clock is ticking. Time is running out. SpongeBob is sweating. His hand is shaking. He writes one word. Then he erases it. He writes another word. Then he erases that too. He is paralyzed by fear. But then, right at the end, he finally starts writing. He writes a few words, and those few words turn into a few sentences, and those few sentences turn into a paragraph. And before he knows it, he has finished the essay. It is not perfect, but it is done. He did it. This episode shows you something important about goals. Sometimes the hardest part is just starting. Sometimes you spend so much time worrying about failing that you do not even try. You convince yourself that it is going to be too hard, or that you are not good enough, or that you do not have enough time. But the truth is, you do not know what you can do until you actually do it. SpongeBob spends hours avoiding the essay. He spends hours being stressed. But when he finally sits down and writes, he realizes it is not as impossible as he thought. It is hard, yes, but it is not impossible. That is what perseverance looks like in real life. It is not about being fearless. It is not about never doubting yourself. It is about doing the thing even when you are scared. It is about starting even when you do not feel ready. It is about taking the first step, and then the next step, and then the step after that. SpongeBob fails his boating test more than anyone in history. But he also takes the test more than anyone in history. And that is what matters. He does not let failure stop him. He does not let fear control him. He just keeps showing up, keeps trying, keeps believing that one day he will get it right. And you can do the same thing. Whatever your goal is, whatever you are trying to achieve, you can keep going. You can fail 100 times and still try again. You can make mistakes and still learn from them. You can feel like giving up and choose to keep going anyway. That is what SpongeBob teaches. Never give up on your goals. Keep trying, keep learning, keep believing in yourself. Because the only way you truly fail is if you stop trying. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Perseverance gets you closer to your goals, but being yourself determines whether those goals are worth reaching. Section 3. Be true to yourself. SpongeBob SquarePants is a sponge who wears square pants, works at a fast food restaurant, lives in a pineapple, and gets excited about things that most people think are boring. He is strange. He is unusual. He does not fit in with what society thinks a normal person should be like, and he does not care. This is the third lesson SpongeBob teaches. Be true to yourself. Do not pretend to be someone else just to impress people. Do not change who you are because you think it will make you more popular or more accepted. Be yourself, even when being yourself makes you different. The episode Ripped Pants shows this lesson perfectly. SpongeBob is at the beach with Sandy. He is trying to impress her. Sandy is strong and athletic. She is lifting weights. She is doing impressive physical feats. And SpongeBob wants her to think he is cool. He wants her to notice him. So SpongeBob tries to show off. He tries to lift weights like Sandy does, but he is not strong enough. The weights are too heavy. He struggles. And then, by accident, his pants rip. Everyone at the beach starts laughing. They think it is hilarious. Sandy laughs too, and SpongeBob realizes something. People are paying attention to him. People think he is funny. So he does it again. He rips his pants on purpose, and people laugh again. He keeps doing it over and over. Every time someone is talking to Sandy, every time someone else is getting attention, SpongeBob rips his pants. And at first, it works. People laugh. They pay attention to him. He feels like he is the center of attention. But then it stops being funny. People get tired of the joke. They get annoyed. SpongeBob rips his pants while someone is trying to have a serious conversation. He rips his pants during an important moment. He rips his pants when someone is in danger and needs help. And suddenly, nobody is laughing anymore. Everyone is upset with him. Sandy is disappointed. His friends walk away. SpongeBob is left alone on the beach. He realizes he made a mistake. He was so focused on getting attention, so focused on making people laugh, that he forgot to be himself. He forgot what actually matters. He was pretending to be a clown because he thought that was what people wanted. But what people actually wanted was for him to be genuine. They wanted him to be a real friend, not a performer. At the end of the episode, SpongeBob sings a song about this lesson. He sings about how he learned that being fake does not work. He sings about how he lost his friends by trying too hard to impress them. And the song is sad but honest. Other people at the beach join in. They sing about their own experiences with trying to be someone they are not. And through this song, SpongeBob reconnects with his friends. He apologizes. He shows them that he understands what he did wrong. This episode teaches something important about authenticity. When you try to be someone you are not, people can tell. They can sense that you are putting on an act. And even if the act is funny or entertaining at first, it gets old. People want to connect with the real you, not the version of you that you think they want to see. SpongeBob learns this lesson in other episodes too. In Not Normal, Squidward convinces SpongeBob that he is too weird. Squidward tells him that normal people do not act the way SpongeBob acts. Normal people do not get excited about small things. Normal people do not laugh all the time. Normal people are boring and mundane and ordinary. So SpongeBob decides to become normal. He watches a video about how to be normal. He learns how to walk normally, how to talk normally, how to act normally. He stops being enthusiastic. He stops being happy. He becomes dull and lifeless. He goes to work and does his job without any passion. He talks to his friends without any emotion. He lives his life like a robot following instructions, and everyone hates it. Patrick misses the old SpongeBob. Sandy misses the old SpongeBob. Even Squidward, who wanted SpongeBob to be normal, realizes that normal SpongeBob is terrible. Normal SpongeBob is not fun to be around. Normal SpongeBob does not make people laugh or smile. Normal SpongeBob is just another boring person. Mr. Krabs notices that normal SpongeBob is bad for business. Customers do not want to eat at a restaurant where the cook does not care about the food. They can taste the difference. The Krabby Patties are technically correct, but they do not have the love and care that SpongeBob usually puts into them. So everyone tells SpongeBob to go back to being himself. They tell him that his weirdness is not a flaw. His weirdness is what makes him special. His enthusiasm and his joy and his strange way of looking at the world are gifts, not problems. And SpongeBob realizes they are right. He tears up the normal manual. He goes back to being weird, and everyone is relieved. This episode shows you that trying to fit in by hiding who you are does not work. You might think that being normal will make people like you more. You might think that being ordinary will help you avoid criticism or judgment. But the truth is, the things that make you different are often the things that make you valuable. SpongeBob is a better fry cook because he is enthusiastic. He is a better friend because he is caring. He is a better neighbor because he is optimistic. If he was normal, if he was just like everyone else, he would not have anything special to offer. There's another episode called I Had an Accident, where SpongeBob becomes afraid to go outside. He has an accident while sandboarding. He gets hurt, and he decides that the world is too dangerous. He decides that the only way to stay safe is to stay inside his house forever. Patrick and Sandy try to convince him to come outside. They tell him that life is about taking risks. They tell him that hiding in your house is not really living. But SpongeBob refuses. He is too scared. He would rather be safe and bored than take a chance and get hurt. So Patrick and Sandy bring the outside to him. They bring the beach inside his house. They pretend to have fun without him. They try to make him jealous. And SpongeBob watches through the window. He sees them playing. He sees them laughing. And he wants to join them. But he is still too afraid. Then a gorilla shows up. This is a weird and surreal moment in the episode. A gorilla appears in SpongeBob's living room and starts attacking him. And SpongeBob realizes something. He thought he would be safe inside his house. He thought that staying home would protect him from danger. But danger can find you anywhere. You cannot avoid life by hiding from it. So SpongeBob decides to go outside. He decides to face his fear. He joins Patrick and Sandy at the beach. And yes, he might get hurt again. Yes, something might go wrong. But at least he will be living. At least he will be himself. This episode connects to the lesson about authenticity because being true to yourself means accepting risk. It means accepting that people might not like you. It means accepting that you might fail or get hurt or make mistakes. But hiding who you are to avoid those risks is not really living. It is just existing. SpongeBob is true to himself even when it makes his life harder. He is true to himself even when Squidward insults him. He is true to himself even when he fails his driving test for the 100th time. He does not pretend to be confident when he is scared. He does not pretend to be cool when he is actually a nerd. He just is who he is. And that authenticity is why people love him. Patrick loves him because he is a genuine friend. Sandy loves him because he is honest. Even Mr. Krabs, who only cares about money, values SpongeBob because SpongeBob truly cares about his job. You cannot fake that kind of dedication. In the episode The Paper, Squidward throws away a piece of paper. He thinks it is garbage. But SpongeBob sees the paper and asks if he can have it. Squidward laughs at him. He thinks SpongeBob is an idiot for wanting a piece of trash. But SpongeBob does not care what Squidward thinks. He takes the paper and he plays with it. He makes music with it. He makes art with it. He has fun with it. Squidward watches SpongeBob play with the paper and he gets jealous. He sees how much joy SpongeBob is getting from something so simple. He wants that joy for himself, so he offers to trade SpongeBob for the paper. He offers his shirt. He offers his house. He offers everything he owns. But SpongeBob does not want to trade. The paper makes him happy, and that is enough. This episode shows that being true to yourself means finding joy in things that other people do not understand. It means not caring if people think you are weird or stupid or childish. SpongeBob likes what he likes. He does not need permission from anyone to enjoy himself. The lesson here is simple but powerful. You will be happier if you stop trying to be what other people want you to be. You will be happier if you embrace your interests, your personality, your quirks. You will be happier if you stop pretending. Of course, being yourself does not mean you should never grow or change. SpongeBob learns from his mistakes. He improves. He gets better at things. But he does not change his fundamental nature. He does not stop being optimistic just because people tell him to be more realistic. He does not stop being kind just because people tell him to be tougher. There is a difference between growing as a person and betraying who you are. Growth means becoming a better version of yourself. Betrayal means becoming someone else entirely. SpongeBob grows throughout the series. He becomes more responsible. He becomes more aware of how his actions affect others. He becomes better at reading social situations. But he never stops being SpongeBob. He never loses his core identity. And that is what you should do in your own life. Be open to growth. Be open to feedback. Be willing to improve. But do not change who you are just to fit in. Do not hide your personality just to avoid judgment. Do not pretend to like things you hate or hate things you love just because of what other people think. Be true to yourself. Be authentic. Be genuine. Because the right people will love you for who you are, and the wrong people do not matter anyway. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Being yourself attracts the right people into your life, and those relationships are where the next lesson lives. Section 4. Value your friendships. SpongeBob SquarePants and Patrick Star are best friends. They do everything together. They catch jellyfish, they blow bubbles, they watch television, they go on adventures, they annoy Squidward. Their friendship is one of the most important parts of the entire show, and through their relationship, SpongeBob teaches the fourth lesson. Value your friendships. Invest time in the people you care about. Be there for them when things are hard. Friendship is not always easy. SpongeBob and Patrick have fights. They have misunderstandings. They hurt each other's feelings, but they always find a way back to each other. They always remember why their friendship matters. In the episode Naughty Nautical Neighbors, Squidward tricks SpongeBob and Patrick into having a fight. He is tired of their noise. He is tired of them bothering him. So he uses bubbles to send fake insults between them. He makes SpongeBob think Patrick said something mean. He makes Patrick think SpongeBob said something mean. And it works. SpongeBob and Patrick get into a huge argument. They stop being friends. At first, Squidward is happy. Finally, he has peace and quiet. Finally, SpongeBob and Patrick will leave him alone. But then something unexpected happens. SpongeBob and Patrick both decide that they need a new best friend, and they both choose Squidward. Suddenly, Squidward has two people constantly bothering him. SpongeBob is at his house trying to be his friend. Patrick is at his house trying to be his friend. They are competing for his attention. They are doing favors for him. They are being overly nice. And Squidward realizes he made a terrible mistake. Having both of them fighting over him is much worse than having them be friends with each other. So Squidward tries to get them back together. He tries to make them remember why they liked each other. And eventually, it works. SpongeBob and Patrick remember that they are best friends. They apologize to each other. They make up. And they go back to annoying Squidward together. This episode shows something important about friendship. Friends fight sometimes. Friends get upset with each other. Friends have disagreements. But good friends do not let those fights destroy the relationship. They work through it. They apologize. They forgive. The fight between SpongeBob and Patrick happens so quickly because their friendship is built on a strong foundation. When they realize they were tricked, they immediately forgive each other. There is no lingering resentment. They just move forward. This teaches you something valuable about real friendship. Real friends do not keep score. They do not remember every mistake you made and throw it back in your face later. They forgive you, and they mean it. They understand that everyone makes mistakes. They understand that relationships are more important than being right. SpongeBob and Patrick model this over and over again. In the episode Big Pink Loser, Patrick gets jealous of SpongeBob. SpongeBob has won awards for being a good fry cook. He has trophies. He has accomplishments. And Patrick has nothing. Patrick does not have a job. He does not have any skills. He does not have anything to be proud of. So Patrick decides to be exactly like SpongeBob. He copies everything SpongeBob does. He dresses like him. He talks like him. He tries to do SpongeBob's job. And at first, SpongeBob thinks this is flattering. But then it gets annoying. Patrick is not being himself. Patrick is just being a bad copy of SpongeBob. The episode reaches a breaking point when Patrick tries to help SpongeBob at work, but just makes everything worse. He breaks things. He ruins orders. He causes problems. And SpongeBob gets frustrated. He tells Patrick that copying him is not the same as being him. He tells Patrick that he needs to find his own identity. But then SpongeBob realizes something. Patrick does have a talent. Patrick is really good at doing nothing. And that sounds like a joke, but it is actually true. Patrick can sit under a rock all day without getting bored. He can relax in ways that other people cannot. He has mastered the art of contentment. So SpongeBob helps Patrick see his own value. He does not tell Patrick that he is worthless. He helps Patrick understand that being different is okay. And Patrick finally gets his own award. He wins an award for doing nothing better than anyone else, and he is proud of it. This episode shows that good friends support each other. They do not compete. They do not make each other feel inferior. They celebrate each other's successes and help each other through failures. SpongeBob recognizes that Patrick is hurting. Patrick feels inadequate. Patrick needs help building his confidence. And SpongeBob provides that help, because that is what friends do. He could have dismissed Patrick. He could have been annoyed, but instead he chose understanding. But friendship is not just about the good times. Real friendship is tested during the hard times. In the episode, I'm Your Biggest Fanatic, SpongeBob meets his hero. There is a famous jellyfisher named Kevin, who SpongeBob admires. Kevin is cool. Kevin is popular. Kevin has a club for elite jellyfishers, and SpongeBob desperately wants to join. He has idolized Kevin for years. So SpongeBob tries to impress Kevin. He tries to show off his jellyfishing skills, and Kevin pretends to be impressed. Kevin pretends to be nice. He invites SpongeBob to join the club, but it is all a trick. Kevin is actually mean. He does not respect SpongeBob. The whole club is just a way to humiliate people like SpongeBob. They play cruel pranks. They laugh at him. They make him feel terrible. They treat him like a joke. Patrick sees what is happening. Patrick sees that these people are not real friends. They are bullies. So Patrick stands up for SpongeBob. He tells Kevin that what he is doing is wrong. He defends SpongeBob even though Kevin is popular and Patrick is not. And then SpongeBob realizes the truth. Kevin is not worth impressing. Kevin is a bad person. The real friend, the person who actually cares about him, is Patrick. Patrick has been there the whole time. Patrick is loyal. Patrick is genuine. Patrick does not need SpongeBob to be impressive or talented. Patrick just loves SpongeBob for who he is. This episode teaches you to recognize real friendship. Real friends do not make you feel bad about yourself. Real friends do not humiliate you for entertainment. Real friends stand by you even when it is not cool to do so. Patrick could have stayed silent, but Patrick does not care about looking cool. He cares about protecting his friend. SpongeBob and Patrick's friendship is also tested in the episode Bubble Buddy. SpongeBob creates a bubble shaped like a person. He names it Bubble Buddy, and he treats Bubble Buddy like a real friend. He takes Bubble Buddy to the beach. He introduces Bubble Buddy to everyone. He talks to Bubble Buddy like Bubble Buddy can respond. Everyone thinks SpongeBob is crazy, and Patrick is confused too. Patrick wonders why SpongeBob needs a new friend. Patrick wonders if he is being replaced. But then Patrick realizes something. SpongeBob is not replacing him. SpongeBob is just being himself. SpongeBob has an imagination. He finds joy in things that other people think are silly, and Patrick decides to support that. Patrick decides to play along. He treats Bubble Buddy like a real person, because that is what SpongeBob needs. This is what good friendship looks like. Good friends accept you even when they do not fully understand you. Good friends support your interests even when those interests seem strange. Patrick does not have to understand why SpongeBob likes Bubble Buddy. He just has to accept that it makes SpongeBob happy. That acceptance is what friendship requires. There is another episode called Rockabye Bivalve, where SpongeBob and Patrick adopt a baby scallop. They find the baby abandoned, and they decide to raise it together. SpongeBob becomes the mother figure. Patrick becomes the father figure. And at first, everything seems fine. But then the reality of raising a baby sets in. It is hard work. The baby cries all the time. The baby needs constant attention. SpongeBob is doing all the work. He is feeding the baby, he is changing the baby, he is staying up all night. And Patrick is not helping. Patrick is out having fun while SpongeBob does everything. SpongeBob gets frustrated. He feels like Patrick does not care. So SpongeBob confronts Patrick. He tells Patrick that friendship requires effort. He tells Patrick that you cannot just take from a relationship without giving anything back. He explains that partnership means sharing responsibility. Patrick does not understand at first. He thinks he is being a good father because he is working, but SpongeBob explains that being present matters more. Being there for your friend, being involved, being supportive, those things matter. And Patrick realizes SpongeBob is right. He starts helping. He starts being an active parent. And together they successfully raise the baby scallop until it is ready to fly away and live on its own. This episode teaches you that friendship requires balance. Both people need to put in effort. Both people need to show up. Both people need to care. If only one person is doing all the work, it is not really a friendship. SpongeBob values his friendship with Patrick so much that he is willing to have hard conversations. He is willing to work through problems instead of just walking away. The same lesson applies to SpongeBob's relationship with Sandy. In the episode Texas, Sandy is homesick. She misses her home state. She is thinking about leaving Bikini Bottom and going back to Texas. SpongeBob does not want Sandy to leave, but he does not try to force her to stay. Instead, he shows her how much she means to him. He throws a surprise party for her. He decorates everything to look like Texas. He reminds her that she has friends here who care about her. And it works. Sandy decides to stay, not because SpongeBob guilted her, but because he showed her genuine love and appreciation. He showed her that friendships are worth staying for. This moment shows that valuing friendship means respecting your friend's feelings. SpongeBob tries to make her happy, and in doing so, he reminds her why their friendship matters. This is the lesson about valuing friendships. Invest time in the people you care about. Show them that they matter. Be there for them when they need you. Have hard conversations when necessary. Support them even when you do not fully understand them. Celebrate their successes. Help them through their failures. Show up consistently. SpongeBob and Patrick's friendship is not perfect. They fight, they annoy each other, but they keep showing up for each other. They keep trying. They keep caring. And that is what makes their friendship real. That is what makes it last through all the challenges. So value your friendships. Treat them like they matter. Be present. Be honest. Be loyal. Because the people in your life are what make life worth living. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Strong friendships give your life meaning, but your work shapes how you spend most of your time. Section 5. Embrace enthusiasm and work pride. SpongeBob SquarePants is a fry cook at a fast food restaurant. That is his job. He flips burgers, he takes orders, he cleans the kitchen. He does the same tasks every single day. And he loves it. He genuinely loves it. He does not pretend to love it for his boss. He does not fake enthusiasm to get a promotion. He actually cares about making Krabby Patties. This is the 5th lesson SpongeBob teaches. Embrace enthusiasm and work pride. Take your work seriously. Care about what you do. Find meaning in your tasks. Even if your job seems small or unimportant to other people, you can choose to be proud of it. SpongeBob's relationship with his work is unusual. Most people see their jobs as a way to make money. They work because they have to, not because they want to. They dream about quitting. They count down the hours until they can go home. They complain about their bosses and their customers and their tasks. But SpongeBob is different. He sees his job as a calling. In the episode Help Wanted, which is the very first episode of the series, SpongeBob applies for a job at the Krusty Krab. He has dreamed about this moment his entire life. He has prepared for it. He has practiced. He knows everything about making Krabby Patties. And when he finally gets the chance to work there, he is overjoyed. Mr. Krabs does not want to hire him. Mr. Krabs thinks SpongeBob is too enthusiastic. He thinks SpongeBob is annoying. So Mr. Krabs sends SpongeBob on an impossible task. He tells him to find a very specific spatula. Mr. Krabs thinks this will discourage SpongeBob. He thinks SpongeBob will give up and go away. But SpongeBob does not give up. He finds the spatula. He comes back, ready to work. And then a huge crowd of anchovies floods the restaurant. They are all hungry. They all want food immediately. Squidward panics. Mr. Krabs panics. Nobody knows what to do. It seems impossible to feed all these customers. Except, SpongeBob does not see it as impossible. He sees it as an opportunity. He puts on his uniform, he picks up his spatula, and he starts cooking. He moves so fast that he becomes a blur. He makes hundreds of Krabby Patties in minutes. Every single anchovy gets fed. Every single customer is satisfied. And by the end of the episode, Mr. Krabs realizes that SpongeBob is not just enthusiastic. SpongeBob is talented. His enthusiasm makes him better at his job. This episode shows something important about work pride. When you care about your work, you do it better. When you take it seriously, you improve. When you treat it like it matters, it becomes meaningful. SpongeBob could have approached the anchovy rush with fear or stress or annoyance. But instead, he approached it with excitement, and that excitement carried him through. SpongeBob's work ethic appears in almost every episode. In Pizza Delivery, he treats delivering a single pizza like it is the most important mission in the world. In Squid's Day Off, he continues working even when Mr. Krabs is not there to supervise him. In Fear of a Krabby Patty, he works 24 hours straight without complaining. He does not do these things because someone is forcing him. He does them because he cares. There is an episode called Employee of the Month, where SpongeBob has won the Employee of the Month award 26 times in a row. He is incredibly proud of this achievement. For him, this award represents recognition. It represents validation that he is doing a good job. It proves that his hard work matters. Squidward does not care about Employee of the Month at all. Squidward thinks it is a stupid award. He thinks Mr. Krabs just uses it to manipulate employees into working harder without paying them more. And honestly, Squidward might be right about that. But SpongeBob does not care about the cynical interpretation. SpongeBob cares about the recognition itself. When Squidward decides he wants to win Employee of the Month just to beat SpongeBob, they both start competing. They try to outdo each other. They work harder and harder. And at first, this seems good for the restaurant. Both employees are giving maximum effort. But then the competition becomes destructive. They start sabotaging each other. They stop caring about the customers. They only care about winning. And that is when SpongeBob learns an important lesson. Work pride is not about beating other people. It is not about being better than your coworkers. It is about doing good work for its own sake. When SpongeBob forgets this, when he focuses only on the competition, he loses sight of why he loves his job. The award becomes meaningless because the work itself stops being meaningful. By the end of the episode, both SpongeBob and Squidward lose the Employee of the Month award. Neither one wins. And SpongeBob realizes he was wrong to let competition ruin his relationship with his work. He goes back to caring about the Krabby Patties themselves, not about the recognition. This teaches you something valuable about work pride. Pride in your work should come from the work itself, not from external rewards. Awards are nice. Recognition is nice. But if you only work hard to get awards, you are missing the point. You should work hard because the work matters to you. You should take pride in doing things well, even if nobody is watching. In the episode The Original Fry Cook, SpongeBob meets Jim, who used to work at the Krusty Krab before SpongeBob. Jim was Mr. Krabs' original fry cook, and Jim was really good at his job. He was so good that Mr. Krabs still talks about him years later. Mr. Krabs says that Jim was the best employee he ever had. SpongeBob feels threatened by this. He worries that he is not as good as Jim. He worries that Mr. Krabs does not appreciate him. So SpongeBob tries to prove himself. He tries to show Mr. Krabs that he is just as good as Jim was. He works harder. He cooks faster. He tries to be perfect. But then SpongeBob realizes something. Jim left the Krusty Krab to pursue his dream of being a chef at a fancy restaurant. Jim wanted more than just flipping burgers. Jim saw fry cooking as a stepping stone, not as a destination. And that is fine. There is nothing wrong with having ambition. There is nothing wrong with wanting to grow and move forward. But SpongeBob is different. SpongeBob does not see fry cooking as a stepping stone. He sees it as his dream job. He does not want to work at a fancy restaurant. He wants to work at the Krusty Krab. He wants to flip Krabby Patties. And that is okay too. That is just as valid as Jim's ambition. This episode shows that work pride does not require ambition in the traditional sense. You do not have to want to climb the corporate ladder. You do not have to want a bigger title or a fancier job. You can be proud of the job you have right now. You can find fulfillment in doing one thing really well instead of constantly chasing the next thing. SpongeBob is happy being a fry cook. He does not want to be a manager. He does not want to own his own restaurant. He just wants to make Krabby Patties. And there is dignity in that. There is value in that. Society tells you that you should always want more, always want to move up, always want to be promoted. But SpongeBob shows you that it is okay to love what you are doing right now. In the episode Le Big Switch, Mr. Krabs trades SpongeBob to another restaurant temporarily. He sends SpongeBob to work at a fancy French restaurant. The chef there is supposed to be amazing. The food is supposed to be incredible. And Mr. Krabs thinks this will be good for SpongeBob. He thinks SpongeBob will learn something. But SpongeBob is miserable at the fancy restaurant. He does not like the complicated recipes. He does not like the pretentious atmosphere. He does not like the customers who look down on him. He misses the Krusty Krab. He misses making Krabby Patties. He misses his simple, straightforward job. And this teaches an important lesson. Fancy does not mean better. Complicated does not mean more meaningful. SpongeBob does not need a prestigious job to feel fulfilled. He needs a job that fits who he is. He needs a job that lets him be himself. And for him, that job is flipping burgers at a fast food restaurant. When SpongeBob finally gets back to the Krusty Krab, he is so happy. He hugs his grill. He thanks Mr. Krabs for letting him come back. He appreciates his job more than ever because he experienced what it would be like to work somewhere else. And that appreciation makes him an even better employee. This is the lesson about work pride. Do not let other people tell you what kind of work should make you proud. Do not let society define what jobs are important and what jobs are not. If you are a janitor and you take pride in keeping buildings clean, that is valuable. If you are a cashier and you take pride in helping customers, that matters. If you are a teacher and you take pride in helping students learn, that is meaningful. SpongeBob is a fry cook. Some people would say that is not an impressive job. Some people would say he is wasting his potential. But SpongeBob does not care what those people think. He knows that his work matters. He knows that he makes people happy. He knows that he is good at what he does. And that is enough. In the episode Karate Choppers, SpongeBob loves karate. He practices it all the time with Sandy. But his karate hobby starts interfering with his work. He practices karate during his shift. He gets distracted. He stops paying attention to the Krabby Patties. And Mr. Krabs gets upset. Mr. Krabs tells SpongeBob that he needs to choose. He can either do karate, or he can work at the Krusty Krab. He cannot do both. And this is a hard choice for SpongeBob. He loves karate, but he also loves his job. SpongeBob chooses his job. He gives up karate. He tells Sandy that he cannot practice with her anymore because he needs to focus on work. And this shows how much SpongeBob values his position at the Krusty Krab. He is willing to sacrifice something he loves in order to be a better employee. Now you might think this is sad. You might think SpongeBob should not have to give up his hobbies for his job. And you would be right to think that. In real life, you should have balance. You should have time for work and time for the things you enjoy. But what this episode shows is SpongeBob's dedication. It shows that when he commits to something, he commits fully. He takes his responsibilities seriously. Of course, by the end of the episode, Mr. Krabs realizes that he was wrong to make SpongeBob choose. He sees that karate actually makes SpongeBob a better employee because it keeps him energized and happy. So Mr. Krabs lets SpongeBob do karate again, and SpongeBob learns that he can have both. He can love his job and love his hobbies. He just needs to manage his time better. This is the lesson. Embrace enthusiasm for your work. Take pride in what you do. Care about your tasks. But also remember that work is not everything. You need balance. You need hobbies. You need things outside of work that bring you joy. SpongeBob's enthusiasm for his job is admirable, but it is even better when combined with enthusiasm for other parts of his life. SpongeBob shows you that your attitude toward work matters. You can have the worst job in the world, but if you approach it with enthusiasm and pride, it becomes better. You can have the best job in the world, but if you approach it with resentment and boredom, it becomes worse. The job itself is only part of the equation. Your mindset is the other part. So embrace enthusiasm. Take pride in your work. Care about what you do. Treat your job like it matters. Because it does matter. Whatever you are doing, however small it seems, you are contributing something to the world. You are helping someone. You are making something. You are part of something bigger than yourself. And that is worth being proud of. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Work pride gives purpose to your daily routine, but staying curious about the world around you adds richness to everything else. Section 6. Keep an open mind. SpongeBob SquarePants lives in a world that is strange. He lives in a pineapple under the sea. His neighbors include a squid who plays clarinet and a squirrel who lives in an underwater dome. His friends are a starfish, a crab, and a whale. Nothing about his life is normal, and SpongeBob accepts all of it without question. This is the 6th lesson SpongeBob teaches. Keep an open mind. Accept strange situations. Be curious about new experiences. Do not judge things before you try them. Do not dismiss people because they are different from you. SpongeBob approaches the world with curiosity instead of fear. When something unusual happens, he does not run away. He does not get angry. He does not reject it. He explores it. He tries to understand it. He gives it a chance. In the episode SB-129, Squidward accidentally travels through time. He ends up in the future where everything is different, and then he ends up in the past where nothing exists yet. And then he ends up in a weird white void where strange voices talk to him. It is a bizarre and unsettling experience. Squidward hates all of it. He just wants to go home to his normal life. He cannot handle the strangeness. But when SpongeBob encounters strange situations, he reacts differently. In the episode Rock Bottom, SpongeBob gets lost in a deep, dark part of the ocean. Everything there is weird. The bus stop is confusing. The residents speak a strange language with raspberries between words. The vending machines do not make sense. It is completely unfamiliar. But SpongeBob does not panic. Well, he gets a little scared. He is nervous about being lost, but he does not give up. He tries to communicate with the residents. He tries to understand how things work. He stays curious. He observes the bus schedule, even though it makes no sense. He attempts to use the vending machine, even though it seems impossible. And eventually, he figures out how to get home. His willingness to stay open to the strange situation is what saves him. If he had shut down, if he had refused to engage with Rock Bottom, he would have been stuck there forever. But because he stayed curious, because he kept trying to understand, he was able to solve his problem. This episode shows that keeping an open mind helps you navigate unfamiliar situations. When you encounter something you do not understand, your first instinct might be to reject it or fear it. But if you can stay curious, if you can try to understand instead of judging, you will be able to handle the situation better. SpongeBob's open-mindedness also appears in how he treats people. In the episode Plankton, SpongeBob befriends Plankton even though everyone tells him not to. Plankton is Mr. Krabs' enemy. Plankton is constantly trying to steal the Krabby Patty formula. Plankton is sneaky and dishonest. Everyone knows this, but SpongeBob does not judge Plankton based on what other people say. When Plankton pretends to be SpongeBob's friend, SpongeBob believes him. He takes Plankton home. He shows Plankton around. He treats Plankton with kindness. He does not assume that Plankton is evil just because other people say so. And yes, it turns out Plankton was using him. Plankton was only being nice to get the formula. Plankton betrays SpongeBob's trust. But SpongeBob's willingness to give Plankton a chance says something important about his character. It shows that he believes in second chances. It shows that he does not judge people based on their past. SpongeBob believes that everyone deserves kindness. He believes that people can change. He believes that you should not write someone off just because of their reputation. And while this sometimes leads to SpongeBob getting tricked or taken advantage of, it also means he forms connections that other people would never have. In the episode FUN, SpongeBob tries to teach Plankton about friendship. He takes Plankton to do fun activities. They go jellyfishing together. Plankton has never done this before, but SpongeBob patiently explains it to him. They blow bubbles. They eat ice cream. And for a little while, it seems like Plankton is actually enjoying himself. It seems like he is learning what it means to have a friend. Mr. Krabs tells SpongeBob that he is wasting his time. Mr. Krabs says Plankton will never change. Plankton is evil. Plankton only cares about stealing the formula. And Mr. Krabs is right. By the end of the episode, Plankton betrays SpongeBob. He uses their friendship as a distraction while he tries to steal the secret formula. But SpongeBob does not regret trying. He does not regret giving Plankton a chance. He genuinely believed that friendship could change Plankton. And even though it did not work, SpongeBob's optimism and open-mindedness are admirable. He was willing to see the good in someone that everyone else had given up on. This teaches you something important. Keeping an open mind means giving people chances. It means not judging someone based on rumors or past behavior. It means believing that people are capable of growth and change. Yes, sometimes you will be disappointed. Sometimes people will take advantage of your kindness. But that does not mean you should stop being open. SpongeBob's open-mindedness also extends to new experiences. In the episode Texas, SpongeBob learns about Texas culture from Sandy. He learns about the traditions and the food and the music. He does not dismiss it as weird or foreign. He embraces it. He tries to understand it. He celebrates it with her. He helps throw a Texas-themed party to make Sandy feel at home. This shows that SpongeBob respects other cultures and backgrounds. He does not think his way of life is the only valid way. He is curious about how other people live. He wants to learn about their traditions. In the episode Karate Island, SpongeBob gets invited to a mysterious island to receive an award for being the best karate fighter. He does not know anything about this place. He has never heard of it. Patrick and Sandy warn him that it might be a trap, but instead of being suspicious, instead of staying home where it is safe, he goes, he explores, he takes the risk. And yes, it turns out to be a trap. The whole thing is a scheme to sell him condos. But SpongeBob's willingness to try new things, to explore unknown places, is part of what makes him adventurous. He could have stayed home. He could have ignored the invitation, but he chose to be curious. In the episode Atlantis SquarePantis, SpongeBob and his friends discover the lost city of Atlantis. It is a place from legend, a place that nobody has seen in thousands of years. And SpongeBob is amazed by everything. He looks at the art. He explores the technology. He talks to the people. He does not approach Atlantis with skepticism or fear. He approaches it with wonder. This is what keeping an open mind looks like. It means approaching the world with wonder instead of judgment. It means being willing to learn about things you do not understand. It means giving unfamiliar experiences a chance instead of dismissing them immediately. SpongeBob also keeps an open mind about ideas. In the episode The Secret Box, Patrick has a secret box that he will not let SpongeBob see inside. SpongeBob is desperate to know what is in the box. He tries everything to get Patrick to show him. He begs, he pleads, he sneaks into Patrick's house at night, but Patrick refuses. Finally, at the end of the episode, Patrick shows SpongeBob what is in the box. It is a picture of SpongeBob and Patrick at the Christmas party. It is a secret because it is embarrassing. And SpongeBob could have been upset that Patrick made such a big deal about something so small. But he is not upset. He thinks it is sweet. He appreciates that Patrick values their friendship so much that he keeps the picture as a treasure. This moment shows that SpongeBob does not judge people for caring about things that seem silly. He accepts that different people value different things. He keeps an open mind about what matters to other people. In the episode Squidville, Squidward moves to a town full of other squids who are just like him. Everyone there likes the same things. Everyone acts the same way. Everyone follows the same routine. At first, Squidward loves it. He thinks he finally found his people. But then he gets bored. Everything is too predictable. There is no variety. There is no surprise. And he realizes that he actually misses SpongeBob and Patrick. He misses their chaos. He misses their weirdness. He misses the fact that they are different from him. This episode shows that diversity makes life interesting. If everyone was the same, life would be boring. He does not want everyone to be like him. He appreciates people for who they are. SpongeBob's open-mindedness makes him a better friend. It makes him a better neighbor. It makes him a better person. He does not judge Squidward for being grumpy. He does not judge Patrick for being simple. He does not judge Sandy for being different. He accepts everyone as they are. And this acceptance creates space for connection. When you keep an open mind, when you accept people without judgment, they feel safe around you. They feel like they can be themselves. And that safety is the foundation of real relationships. In the episode Krusty Love, SpongeBob helps Mr. Krabs impress a woman named Mrs. Puff. Mr. Krabs is in love with her. But he does not know how to express his feelings. He does not know how to act on a date. So SpongeBob coaches him. He teaches him what to say. He teaches him how to be romantic. And SpongeBob does this without judgment. He does not make fun of Mr. Krabs for being nervous. He does not mock him for not knowing how to date. He just helps. He keeps an open mind about what Mr. Krabs needs, and he provides support. This is what open-mindedness looks like in practice. It means helping people even when you do not fully understand what they are going through. It means supporting them without judging them. It means accepting that everyone has struggles, and everyone needs help sometimes. Keeping an open mind also means being willing to change your own views. In the episode My Pretty Seahorse, SpongeBob adopts a wild seahorse as a pet. He loves this seahorse. He names it Mystery. He wants to keep it forever. But the seahorse causes problems. It eats everything. It destroys things. It does not belong in Bikini Bottom. Everyone tells SpongeBob that he needs to let the seahorse go. They tell him that wild animals should not be pets. And at first, SpongeBob refuses to listen. He thinks they are wrong. But eventually, SpongeBob realizes they are right. He realizes that keeping the seahorse is selfish. The seahorse is not happy in captivity. The seahorse needs to be free. So SpongeBob lets it go. He changes his mind. He accepts that his original plan was wrong. This is an important part of keeping an open mind. It is not just about accepting other people. It is about accepting that you might be wrong. It is about being willing to change your views when you learn new information. It is about not being so attached to your own ideas that you refuse to consider other perspectives. In the episode Nature Pants, SpongeBob decides he wants to live with the jellyfish. He thinks his life in Bikini Bottom is too complicated, so he quits his job. He gives away his possessions. He moves into jellyfish fields. At first, it seems great. He is free. He is running with the jellyfish. But then he realizes that living in nature is actually very hard. He gets stung constantly. He has no food. He has no shelter. He is miserable. And he realizes that his life in Bikini Bottom was not so bad after all. This episode shows that keeping an open mind means trying new things. But it also means being honest when those new things do not work out. SpongeBob tried living with the jellyfish. He gave it a real chance. But when it did not work, he admitted it. He went back to his old life. SpongeBob shows you that curiosity and acceptance make life richer. When you approach the world with an open mind, you discover things you never would have found otherwise. You meet people you never would have connected with. You have experiences you never would have tried. Keeping an open mind does not mean you have to like everything. It does not mean you cannot have preferences. It just means you should give things a fair chance before deciding. It means you should try to understand before judging. So keep an open mind. Be curious. Try new things. Accept strange situations. Give people chances. Do not judge before you understand. And be willing to change your views when you learn something new. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Curiosity opens doors to new experiences, but learning from your mistakes determines whether you walk through them wisely. Section 7. Learn from mistakes. SpongeBob SquarePants makes a lot of mistakes. He burns Krabby Patties. He forgets important tasks. He trusts the wrong people. He acts without thinking. He creates chaos accidentally, and he fails over and over again. But here's what makes SpongeBob different from most people. He does not let his mistakes destroy him. He learns from them. This is the 7th lesson SpongeBob teaches. Learn from mistakes. Accept that you will fail sometimes. Understand that failure is part of growth. Do not beat yourself up when things go wrong. Just figure out what went wrong and try to do better next time. In the episode Procrastination, SpongeBob has to write an essay for boating school. Mrs. Puff gives him the assignment. She tells him it is due soon, She explains exactly what she wants, and SpongeBob has plenty of time to complete it. But he does not start right away. He tells himself he will do it later. Instead of writing, he does everything else. He feeds Gary, he watches television, he cleans his entire house, he sharpens every pencil he owns. He builds a house out of those pencils. He does anything and everything except write the essay. And the whole time, he knows he should be working. He knows he is making a mistake, but he cannot seem to stop himself. Then, suddenly, it is the middle of the night. The essay is due in the morning, and SpongeBob has not written a single word. He panics. He sits at his desk. He stares at the blank paper. His mind goes blank. He cannot think. He cannot write. The pressure is too much. He starts imagining terrible things. He imagines himself failing boating school. He imagines Mrs. Puff being disappointed. He imagines his entire future falling apart. And these thoughts make it even harder to write. The anxiety builds and builds until SpongeBob is completely paralyzed. But then, with only minutes left before the deadline, something changes. SpongeBob forces himself to write one word, just one word. And that one word leads to another word, and those words become sentences, and those sentences become paragraphs. And before he knows it, he has finished the essay. It is not perfect, but it is done. This episode teaches an important lesson about mistakes. Procrastination is a mistake that almost everyone makes. You know you should do something. You know it is important, but you put it off anyway. You tell yourself you have time. You distract yourself with easier tasks. And then suddenly the deadline arrives and you are not ready. SpongeBob makes this mistake, but he also shows you how to recover from it. When he finally sits down to write, he does not waste time feeling sorry for himself. He does not spend hours thinking about how stupid he was to wait so long. He just writes. He focuses on solving the problem instead of dwelling on the mistake. This is what learning from mistakes looks like. You acknowledge that you messed up, you accept the consequences, and then you move forward. You do not let the mistake define you. You use it as information. You figure out what went wrong so you can avoid making the same mistake again. In the episode I Had an Accident, SpongeBob has a different kind of mistake. He is sandboarding with Patrick and Sandy. They are having fun. They are going down hills. They are doing tricks. And SpongeBob gets overconfident. He tries a move that is too difficult. He loses control and he crashes. The crash is bad. SpongeBob gets hurt. He ends up in the hospital wrapped in bandages. And when he recovers, he is terrified. He decides that going outside is too dangerous. He decides that the only way to stay safe is to stay inside his house forever. He locks himself in. He refuses to leave. Patrick and Sandy try to convince him to come outside. They tell him that accidents happen sometimes. They tell him that you cannot live your whole life in fear. They remind him of all the fun things he is missing. But SpongeBob refuses to listen. He is too scared. The memory of the accident is too strong, so Patrick and Sandy bring the outside to him. They set up the beach inside his house. They pretend to have fun without him. They try to make him jealous. But SpongeBob still will not leave. He watches them through the window. He wants to join them, but his fear holds him back. Then something unexpected happens. A gorilla shows up inside his house and starts attacking him. And SpongeBob realizes something important. He thought staying inside would keep him safe. He thought avoiding risk would protect him from harm. But danger can find you anywhere. You cannot avoid life by hiding from it. So SpongeBob decides to go outside again. He decides to face his fear. He joins Patrick and Sandy at the real beach. And yes, he might get hurt again. Yes, another accident might happen. But at least he will be living. At least he will be experiencing life instead of just watching it happen. This episode shows that mistakes teach you lessons, but sometimes you learn the wrong lesson. SpongeBob had an accident. That was real. The pain was real. But the lesson he learned was wrong. He learned that going outside is dangerous. He learned that the best way to avoid pain is to avoid everything. But that is not the right lesson. The right lesson is that accidents happen sometimes, but they are not common enough to justify living in fear. The right lesson is that the risk of getting hurt is worth it because the alternative is never experiencing anything good. SpongeBob eventually figures this out. He realizes his mistake. Not the mistake of getting hurt, the mistake of letting fear control his life. And he corrects it. He goes back outside. He starts living again. That is what learning from mistakes looks like. In the episode Wormy, SpongeBob and Patrick agree to take care of Sandy's pets while she is away. One of the pets is a caterpillar named Wormy. SpongeBob and Patrick play with Wormy. They have fun with him. They become friends with him. Everything is fine. But then Wormy transforms into a butterfly. This is normal. This is what caterpillars do. But SpongeBob and Patrick do not know this. They have never seen a butterfly before. So when they see this large insect with wings, they think it is a monster. They think Wormy was eaten by this terrible creature. They panic. They run through Bikini Bottom screaming about a monster. They warn everyone. They cause mass hysteria. The entire town goes into a panic. People are running and hiding and freaking out. All because SpongeBob and Patrick made a mistake. They misunderstood what they were seeing. Eventually, the truth comes out. The butterfly is not a monster. It is just Wormy in his new form. And SpongeBob and Patrick realized their mistake. They scared the entire town for no reason. They caused chaos because they did not understand something. This episode teaches you that mistakes often come from ignorance. You do not know something. You misunderstand a situation. You jump to conclusions. And those conclusions lead you to do things that cause problems. The solution is not to feel bad about being ignorant. The solution is to learn, to ask questions, to seek understanding before reacting. SpongeBob makes this mistake because he has never learned about butterflies. But after this experience, he knows. Next time he sees a butterfly, he will not panic. He will remember what he learned. That is how mistakes become valuable. They teach you things you did not know before. In the episode The Bully, a new student named Flats joins SpongeBob's boating school class. Flats tells SpongeBob that he is going to kick his butt. He says this very clearly. He says it multiple times. And SpongeBob is terrified. He spends the entire episode trying to avoid Flats. He hides. He runs away. He does everything he can to escape. But running away does not solve the problem. Flats keeps finding him. The threat keeps following him. And SpongeBob's fear keeps growing. He is so scared that he cannot focus on anything else. He cannot enjoy his day. He cannot relax. All he can think about is the inevitable confrontation. Finally, at the end of the episode, Flats catches SpongeBob. He starts punching him. But here is the thing. SpongeBob is a sponge. Punches do not hurt him. His body just absorbs the impact. Flats punches him over and over, and SpongeBob is completely fine. Eventually, Flats gets tired and gives up. SpongeBob spent the entire day terrified of something that could not actually hurt him. He made the mistake of assuming the worst. He let fear control him without checking if the fear was justified. And this teaches you something important. Sometimes the things you are afraid of are not as bad as you think they are. Sometimes you spend all your energy worrying about a problem that turns out to be manageable. The lesson here is not that you should never be afraid. Fear exists for a reason. It protects you from real danger. But you should examine your fears. You should ask yourself if they are based on reality or based on imagination. And if you discover that your fear was bigger than the actual threat, you learn from that. In the episode, Can You Spare a Dime?, Squidward quits his job at the Krusty Krab. He thinks Mr. Krabs accused him of stealing. He gets angry. He storms out. He refuses to work there anymore. And at first, he is proud of himself. He thinks he stood up for his dignity. But then reality sets in. Squidward has no money. He has no other job. He cannot pay his bills. He loses his house. He has nowhere to go. So he shows up at SpongeBob's house, asking for help. And SpongeBob, being kind, lets Squidward stay with him. But Squidward does not look for a new job. He does not try to fix his situation. He just lives at SpongeBob's house for free. He eats SpongeBob's food. He sleeps in SpongeBob's bed. He takes advantage of SpongeBob's kindness, and he makes no effort to change anything. Eventually, SpongeBob realizes what is happening. Squidward is not learning from his mistake. He made an impulsive decision to quit his job. That was the mistake. But instead of learning from it and finding a solution, he is just avoiding responsibility. This episode shows you what happens when you do not learn from mistakes. You keep making the same mistake over and over. Squidward quit his job without thinking about the consequences, and even after facing those consequences, he does not change his behavior. He does not learn. He just expects other people to fix his problems. Learning from mistakes requires action. It requires reflection. You have to think about what went wrong. You have to understand why it went wrong, and then you have to change your behavior so it does not happen again. In the episode Doing Time, SpongeBob accidentally gets Mrs. Puff sent to jail. He was driving recklessly during a boating test. Mrs. Puff tried to stop him, but the police thought she was the one driving, so they arrested her. And SpongeBob feels terrible about this. He tries to break Mrs. Puff out of jail. He sneaks in disguised as a prisoner. He tries to help her escape, but every attempt fails, and every failure makes things worse. Mrs. Puff gets in more trouble. Her sentence gets extended. This teaches you another lesson about mistakes. Sometimes when you try to fix a mistake, you make new mistakes. Your good intentions lead to bad outcomes. And you have to recognize when that is happening. You have to know when to stop trying to fix things yourself and let the situation resolve naturally. SpongeBob eventually learns this. He stops trying to break Mrs. Puff out of jail. He accepts that he cannot fix this problem with more action. And ironically, Mrs. Puff gets released shortly after. Mistakes are inevitable. Everyone makes them. SpongeBob makes them constantly. But what separates people who grow from people who stay stuck is how they respond to those mistakes. Do you learn from them? Do you change your behavior? Do you accept responsibility? SpongeBob shows you the right way. He makes mistakes. He acknowledges them. He feels bad about them. But he does not wallow in guilt. He does not let them define him. He just tries to do better next time. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Mistakes teach valuable lessons, but kindness determines how you treat others, even when helping them is difficult. Section 8. Help others, even if it is hard. SpongeBob SquarePants helps people. He helps them all the time. He helps his friends. He helps strangers. He even helps people who are mean to him. And most of the time, helping people is not easy. It costs him time. It costs him energy. It costs him comfort. But he does it anyway. This is the 8th lesson SpongeBob teaches. Help others, even if it is hard. Be kind to people, even when they do not deserve it. Offer assistance, even when you get nothing in return. Choose compassion over convenience. In the episode Pizza Delivery, SpongeBob and Squidward have to deliver a pizza to a customer. It is late at night. They have to walk a long distance. They get lost. Squidward complains the entire time. He is angry. He is tired. He wants to go home. But SpongeBob stays positive. He keeps going. He is determined to complete the delivery. When they finally arrive at the customer's house, the customer opens the door. SpongeBob is excited to give him the pizza. He is proud that they made it, but the customer immediately gets angry. He ordered a drink with the pizza. The Krusty Krab forgot to include it. And even though this is not SpongeBob's fault, even though SpongeBob worked hard to deliver the pizza, The customer yells at him. He slams the door in SpongeBob's face. SpongeBob is devastated. He starts crying. He cannot believe that all his effort was for nothing. He tried so hard to help this person, and the person was cruel to him. Squidward sees this, and even though Squidward was complaining the whole time, even though Squidward does not usually care about anything, he gets angry on SpongeBob's behalf. Squidward walks up to the door. He knocks, and when the customer opens it, Squidward throws the pizza in his face. He tells the customer that SpongeBob worked hard and deserves respect. He defends SpongeBob. He stands up for him. This episode shows you something important about helping people. Sometimes the people you help will not appreciate it. Sometimes they will be ungrateful. Sometimes they will be rude. But that does not mean helping them was wrong. SpongeBob did the right thing by delivering the pizza. The customer's rudeness is a reflection of the customer, not of SpongeBob. And this episode also shows you that kindness is contagious. Squidward spent the entire episode being negative, but watching SpongeBob's kindness, watching him care so much about doing a good job, it changed something in Squidward. It made Squidward want to defend that kindness. It made Squidward care. In the episode Home Sweet Pineapple, SpongeBob's house gets destroyed. Nematodes eat his entire pineapple. He has nowhere to live. He is homeless. And his friends see him struggling. They see him trying to figure out what to do, and they want to help. Patrick offers to let SpongeBob stay with him. Patrick does not have much. His house is just a rock. There is barely any space. But Patrick offers it anyway, because that is what friends do. They help each other, even when it is inconvenient. Squidward also offers to let SpongeBob stay with him. Now, this is surprising because Squidward usually wants nothing to do with SpongeBob. Squidward finds SpongeBob annoying, but when he sees SpongeBob in genuine need, when he sees that SpongeBob has lost everything, Squidward's compassion overrides his annoyance. He makes the offer even though having SpongeBob in his house would be difficult. SpongeBob ends up not needing their help because a new pineapple grows overnight. But the fact that his friends offered means something. It shows that helping others is not always about grand gestures. Sometimes it is about offering what you have, even when what you have is not much. Patrick offering his rock and Squidward offering his house are acts of kindness because they required sacrifice. In the episode Squid's Day Off, Mr. Krabs goes to the hospital for a minor injury. He leaves Squidward in charge of the Krusty Krab, and Squidward is thrilled. He thinks this is his chance to relax. He thinks he can finally have an easy day at work, so he tells SpongeBob to run the restaurant alone while he takes a break. But Squidward cannot relax. He keeps worrying that SpongeBob is messing things up. He keeps imagining disasters. So he sneaks back into the restaurant to check on SpongeBob. And every time he checks, SpongeBob is working perfectly. SpongeBob is doing everything right. SpongeBob is running the entire restaurant by himself, without any problems. But SpongeBob does not know that Squidward is supposed to be relaxing. SpongeBob thinks they are both working. So when Squidward keeps sneaking around, when Squidward keeps acting weird, SpongeBob gets confused. But he does not stop working. He does not complain. He just keeps doing his job. He keeps serving customers. He keeps cooking. He keeps the restaurant running smoothly. This episode shows that SpongeBob helps even when nobody is asking him to. He does not need supervision. He does not need someone standing over him telling him what to do. He just does the work because it needs to be done. He helps keep the restaurant running because that is what the situation requires. And this is an important aspect of helping others. Sometimes helping means doing your job well. It means not making other people clean up your mess. It means being reliable so other people can count on you. SpongeBob helps Squidward by being competent, by being someone Squidward does not have to worry about. In the episode Snowball Effect, Squidward refuses to play in the snow with SpongeBob and Patrick. He thinks snow is stupid. He thinks playing is childish. He wants to stay inside and be miserable. But SpongeBob and Patrick are having so much fun that eventually Squidward gets curious. He wants to understand what they find so enjoyable. So Squidward goes outside. He starts building a snow fort. He starts making snowballs, and he gets completely absorbed in it. He starts having fun despite himself. But then he takes it too far. He becomes obsessed with winning. He builds weapons. He escalates the snowball fight into something aggressive. SpongeBob and Patrick see what is happening. They see that Squidward is not having fun anymore. He is just being competitive and mean. So they stop playing with him. They walk away, and Squidward is left alone with his giant snow fort and his elaborate weapons. But then Squidward's fort collapses. He gets buried in snow. And even though Squidward was being mean to them, even though he ruined the fun, SpongeBob and Patrick dig him out. They help him. They do not leave him buried. They do not punish him for being a jerk. They just help because that is what you do when someone is in trouble. This episode teaches you that helping others sometimes means helping people who were just mean to you. It means not holding grudges. It means doing the right thing even when the other person does not deserve it. Squidward did not deserve to be rescued. He was being awful. But SpongeBob and Patrick helped him anyway. Because helping people is not about whether they deserve it. It is about doing what is right. In the episode Skill Crane, SpongeBob tries to help Squidward win a prize from a claw machine. Squidward is obsessed with this machine. He keeps putting money in. He keeps failing. He becomes more and more frustrated, and SpongeBob feels bad for him. So SpongeBob tries to help. He offers advice. He tries to show Squidward techniques. But Squidward does not want help. He gets angry at SpongeBob. He tells SpongeBob to leave him alone. He insists he can do it himself. But then, SpongeBob wins a prize on his first try. He was not even trying, it just happened. And this makes Squidward even more angry. Squidward has been trying for hours. He has spent all his money, and SpongeBob wins immediately, without effort. SpongeBob feels bad about this. He does not want Squidward to feel worse. So he offers to give Squidward the prize. He tries to make Squidward feel better. But Squidward refuses. His pride will not let him accept help. His ego is too fragile. This episode shows you that sometimes you cannot help people. Sometimes they will refuse your help. Sometimes they will resent you for offering. And you have to accept that. You cannot force people to accept kindness. You can only offer it. What they do with that offer is up to them. SpongeBob learns this lesson. He tried to help Squidward. He offered multiple times, but Squidward said no. So SpongeBob has to let it go. He has to accept that Squidward would rather struggle alone than accept assistance. And that is Squidward's choice to make. In the episode Graveyard Shift, SpongeBob and Squidward have to work the night shift. Squidward is scared. He tells SpongeBob a scary story about the hash-slinging slasher to pass the time. But the story backfires. SpongeBob gets terrified, and when strange things start happening at the restaurant, both of them panic. They think the hash-slinging slasher is real. They think he is coming to get them. They are both scared, but SpongeBob tries to be brave anyway. He tries to protect Squidward, even though he is terrified himself. He stands between Squidward and the perceived danger. He is willing to face the threat to keep Squidward safe. Of course, it turns out there is no threat. The hash-slinging slasher is not real. The scary things happening are just coincidences, but SpongeBob did not know that. He genuinely thought he was in danger, and he chose to help Squidward anyway. He chose to be brave even when he was scared. This is what helping others looks like when it is hard. It means doing the right thing even when you are afraid. It means protecting people even when you are not sure you can. It means choosing kindness over self-preservation. In the episode Sailor Mouth, SpongeBob accidentally learns a bad word. He does not know it is a bad word. He just thinks it is a sentence enhancer. So he uses it constantly. And when Mr. Krabs hears him, Mr. Krabs gets very upset. He explains to SpongeBob that this word is bad. He tells SpongeBob never to use it again. SpongeBob feels terrible. He did not mean to do something wrong. He was just ignorant. But now that he knows, he wants to make it right. So he apologizes. He promises never to use the word again. And he keeps that promise even when it is hard. Even when he is angry or frustrated, he does not use the bad word. This episode shows that helping others sometimes means controlling yourself. It means not saying things that will hurt people. It means being considerate of how your words affect others. SpongeBob could have argued that he did not mean anything bad by the word. He could have insisted that his intentions were good. But he does not do that. He just stops using the word because it bothers people. Helping others is not always dramatic. It is not always about grand gestures or heroic acts. Sometimes it is just about being considerate, being thoughtful, paying attention to how your actions affect the people around you, and choosing to act in ways that make their lives easier instead of harder. SpongeBob helps people all the time in small ways. He holds doors. He smiles at strangers. He compliments people. He offers encouragement. These are tiny acts of kindness, but they add up. They make the world a little bit better. They make people's days a little bit brighter. And that is the lesson. Help others, even if it is hard, even if it costs you something, even if you get nothing in return, even if the person you are helping does not appreciate it. Because helping people is not about what you get out of it. It is about making the world better. It is about being the kind of person who makes life easier for others instead of harder. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Helping others requires effort and sacrifice, but finding wonder in everyday moments requires nothing but attention. Section 9. Find fun and wonder in life. SpongeBob SquarePants wakes up every morning and says the same thing. I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. He does not say this because something special is about to happen. He does not say it because he has an exciting event planned. He says it because he is ready for another day of life. He is ready for whatever comes. He is ready to experience the world. This is the 9th lesson SpongeBob teaches. Find fun and wonder in life. Approach each day with enthusiasm. See the world as full of possibilities. Treat ordinary moments like they are adventures. Do not wait for special occasions to be excited about being alive. SpongeBob's catchphrase is simple. I'm ready. But those 2 words reveal his entire philosophy. He is not waiting for life to get better. He is not postponing happiness until some future event. He is ready right now. He is excited right now. He is engaged with life right now. In the episode Ripped Pants, SpongeBob goes to the beach with his friends. They are just hanging out. There is nothing particularly special happening, but SpongeBob treats it like the best day ever. He is excited to be at the beach. He is excited to be with his friends. He is excited about everything. When his pants rip and people laugh, he finds that fun too. He turns it into a game. He rips his pants on purpose to make people laugh. And for a while, it works. People think he is funny. They pay attention to him. He is having a great time. Of course, the joke eventually stops being funny. People get tired of it. But the point is that SpongeBob knows how to create fun. He does not need someone else to entertain him. He does not need elaborate plans or expensive activities. He just needs to be present and engaged with whatever is happening. This is what finding wonder in life looks like. It means being able to enjoy simple things. It means not needing constant stimulation or novelty. It means finding joy in the ordinary. In the episode Jellyfishing, SpongeBob and Patrick go jellyfishing. This is something they do all the time. It is not new. It is not exotic. It is just their regular hobby, but they approach it with complete enthusiasm every single time. They never get bored of it. They never treat it like a chore. They treat it like an adventure. When Squidward gets injured and has to stay home, SpongeBob and Patrick try to bring the joy of jellyfishing to him. They catch a jellyfish and give it to him as a gift. And even though Squidward does not appreciate it, even though he gets stung, SpongeBob and Patrick genuinely thought they were doing something wonderful. They thought they were sharing something magical. This shows you that SpongeBob sees magic in things that other people think are mundane. Jellyfishing is just catching jellyfish. But to SpongeBob, it is an experience worth sharing. It is something special. And that perspective changes everything. In the episode Fun, SpongeBob tries to teach Plankton what fun is. He sings a song about it. The song lists all sorts of activities. Some are big, some are small. Some are silly, some are simple. But the common thread is that all of them can be fun if you approach them with the right attitude. The song says, fun is about doing things with friends. It is about being playful. It is about not taking everything so seriously. And Plankton, who has spent his entire life being angry and scheming, does not understand this at first. He has never approached life looking for fun. He has only approached it looking for success, or revenge, or validation. But for a brief moment, Plankton experiences what SpongeBob is talking about. He goes jellyfishing, he blows bubbles, he eats ice cream, and he enjoys it. He actually has fun, and you can see it change him temporarily. He relaxes, he smiles, he forgets about his schemes. Of course, Plankton goes back to his old ways by the end of the episode, but SpongeBob showed him what was possible. SpongeBob showed him that life can be enjoyable if you let it be. And that is the lesson. Fun is a choice. Wonder is a choice. You can choose to see the world as boring and difficult, or you can choose to see it as full of possibilities. In the episode Band Geeks, Squidward tries to form a marching band. He wants to prove that he is talented. He wants to show off. And the whole process is stressful for him. He is anxious. He is frustrated. Nothing is going the way he wants. But SpongeBob approaches the band with pure joy. He is excited to play music. He is excited to be part of a group. He does not care if they are good or bad. He just wants to participate. He wants to experience it. And this attitude makes the experience better for everyone. When SpongeBob is having fun, it gives other people permission to have fun too. His enthusiasm is contagious. By the end of the episode, the entire band comes together and performs an amazing show. And part of that success comes from SpongeBob's ability to find joy in the process. This teaches you that your attitude affects the people around you. If you approach activities with dread or negativity, you make those activities worse for everyone. But if you approach them with enthusiasm and wonder, you make them better. You create an atmosphere where fun is possible. In the episode, The Camping Episode, SpongeBob and Patrick go camping. They set up their campsite right outside their houses. They are still in Bikini Bottom. They are basically camping in their front yard. And Squidward thinks this is ridiculous. He thinks camping should be done in the wilderness, far away from civilization. But SpongeBob and Patrick do not care about Squidward's opinion. They are having a great time. They are roasting marshmallows, they are telling stories, they are singing songs, they are doing all the camping activities. And the fact that they are still technically at home does not diminish their enjoyment at all. This shows that wonder is not about the location or the circumstances. It is about your mindset. SpongeBob and Patrick create an adventure out of camping in their front yard because they decide to treat it as an adventure. They engage with it fully. They commit to the experience. Squidward, on the other hand, decides to show them what real camping is like. He goes out into the actual wilderness. He sets up a proper camp far away from everyone. And he is miserable. He does not enjoy himself at all. He gets attacked by a sea bear. Everything goes wrong. Meanwhile, SpongeBob and Patrick are perfectly happy in their front yard. They are safe, they are comfortable, and they are having exactly the experience they wanted. This contrast shows you that comfort and wonder are not opposites. You can have both. You do not need to suffer to have an adventure. In the episode Idiot Box, SpongeBob and Patrick get a large cardboard box. They play with the box all day. They use their imagination to turn the box into a spaceship, a race car, a submarine, and a time machine. They make sound effects, they narrate their adventures, and they have an absolutely wonderful time. Squidward watches them through his window. He cannot understand what they are doing. All he sees is two people sitting in an empty box making noises. He thinks they are being stupid. He thinks they are wasting their time. So Squidward takes the box for himself. He thinks there must be something special about it. He thinks there must be some trick or technology that makes it fun. But when he gets in the box, nothing happens. It is just a box. There is no magic. And Squidward is disappointed. The lesson here is clear. The fun was never in the box. The fun was in SpongeBob and Patrick's ability to use their imagination. The fun was in their willingness to play. The fun was in their capacity for wonder. And Squidward does not have that capacity. He has lost his imagination. He has forgotten how to play. This episode teaches you something important about finding wonder in life. Children are naturally good at this. They can turn anything into a game. They can find joy in the simplest objects. But as people get older, they often lose this ability. They become too serious. They become too focused on productivity or success or looking mature. SpongeBob never lost this ability. He still plays like a child. He still uses his imagination. He still finds wonder in simple things. And his life is richer because of it. In the episode Hooky, SpongeBob discovers hooks in the water. Mr. Krabs warns him that hooks are dangerous. They are traps set by humans to catch fish. But SpongeBob is fascinated by them. He thinks they look fun. He wants to play on them. Patrick joins him. They swing on the hooks like they are playground equipment. They treat the hooks like a carnival ride. And they are having an amazing time. They are laughing and playing and completely enjoying themselves. Of course, Mr. Krabs is right. The hooks are dangerous. SpongeBob almost gets caught. He almost gets pulled out of the water. And he learns that not everything that seems fun is safe. He learns that sometimes you need to listen to warnings. But even this scary experience does not destroy SpongeBob's sense of wonder. He does not become cynical. He does not decide that the world is a terrible place. He just learns to be more careful. He adjusts his behavior without losing his enthusiasm for life. In the episode Walking Small, Plankton tries to teach SpongeBob to be assertive. He wants SpongeBob to be aggressive and mean so that Plankton can use him to scare people away from the beach. But SpongeBob struggles with this. Being mean feels wrong to him. Being aggressive goes against his nature. Eventually, SpongeBob realizes what Plankton is trying to do, and he stands up to Plankton. He tells Plankton that he does not want to be mean. He likes being nice. He likes making people happy. And he is not going to change just because Plankton wants him to. This episode shows that finding wonder in life is connected to kindness. SpongeBob sees the world as a wonderful place because he approaches it with love and generosity. If he became mean and aggressive like Plankton wanted, he would lose that sense of wonder. He would start seeing the world as a hostile place full of enemies. But SpongeBob chooses to stay kind. He chooses to stay open. He chooses to keep seeing the good in people and the beauty in life. And that choice protects his ability to experience joy. In the episode The Secret Box, SpongeBob becomes obsessed with finding out what is inside Patrick's secret box. He spends the entire episode trying to look inside. He schemes, he sneaks around, he cannot let it go. But when he finally sees what is inside, it is just a picture of them together. It is a simple, silly photograph. And SpongeBob is not disappointed. He is touched. He thinks it is sweet that Patrick treasures this picture so much. This moment shows that SpongeBob finds meaning and wonder in simple things. He does not need the box to contain something amazing or valuable. The fact that it contains evidence of their friendship is enough. That is wonderful to him. In the episode Texas, SpongeBob helps throw a party for Sandy. He decorates everything to look like Texas. He gets everyone to dress up. He plans activities, and he puts so much effort into it because he wants Sandy to feel loved. He wants her to feel at home. The party itself becomes a joyful celebration. Everyone is having fun. Everyone is participating, and SpongeBob is running around making sure everything is perfect. He is not doing this because he has to. He is doing it because he loves creating joy for other people. This shows another dimension of finding wonder in life. It is not just about your own experience. It is about creating experiences for others. SpongeBob finds joy in making other people happy. He finds wonder in bringing people together. He treats party planning like an adventure. SpongeBob's approach to life is infectious. When you watch him, when you see how excited he gets about everything, it makes you want to be more like that. It makes you want to find more joy in your own life. It reminds you that wonder is available if you choose to see it. And that is the lesson. Find fun and wonder in life. Say, "I'm ready," every morning and mean it. Approach each day like it is full of possibilities. Play. Use your imagination. Create joy for yourself and others. Do not wait for life to be special. Make it special through your attitude and your choices. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Finding wonder makes life feel rich and full. But humor helps you navigate the moments when things do not go as planned. Section 10. Use humor to cope with struggles. SpongeBob SquarePants faces difficulties all the time. His house gets destroyed, he fails tests, he gets hurt, he loses things, he embarrasses himself. He experiences all the same struggles that everyone experiences. But he does not let those struggles crush him. He uses humor to cope. This is the 10th lesson SpongeBob teaches. Use humor to cope with struggles. Laugh at yourself. Find the absurdity in bad situations. Do not take everything so seriously. Humor is not about ignoring problems. It is about maintaining perspective when things go wrong. In the episode Hall Monitor, SpongeBob gets chosen to be the hall monitor at boating school. This is a huge honor for him. He is so excited that he gives a very long acceptance speech. The speech is so long that by the time he finishes, the school day is over. He wasted the entire day talking about being hall monitor instead of actually being hall monitor. Mrs. Puff tells him he can take the hall monitor uniform home and be hall monitor for the rest of the day outside of school. SpongeBob takes this responsibility very seriously. Too seriously. He starts patrolling Bikini Bottom looking for crimes. He starts seeing crimes everywhere, even when they are not happening. He creates chaos trying to enforce rules. Eventually, SpongeBob himself becomes wanted by the police. They think he is a dangerous criminal causing trouble all over town, and when SpongeBob sees his own wanted poster, he panics. He does not realize the criminal is him. He thinks there is a dangerous version of himself running around. The whole situation is ridiculous. It is stressful. SpongeBob is genuinely scared, but the episode treats it with humor. It shows the absurdity of SpongeBob taking the hall monitor job too seriously. It shows how his good intentions led to complete disaster. And by the end, even though everything went wrong, you can laugh about it. SpongeBob can laugh about it. This is what using humor to cope looks like. The situation is bad. SpongeBob messed up. But treating it as a tragedy would not help. Instead, the episode acknowledges the absurdity. It finds the humor in the situation, and that humor makes the struggle easier to handle. In the episode Valentine's Day, SpongeBob tries to give Patrick the best Valentine's Day present ever. He arranges for a hot air balloon to deliver a giant chocolate balloon to Patrick, but the delivery gets delayed. Patrick does not receive his present when he expects it, and Patrick becomes convinced that SpongeBob forgot about him. Patrick gets angrier and angrier. He starts destroying the Valentine's Day carnival. He is acting completely unreasonable. And SpongeBob is trying desperately to explain. He is trying to tell Patrick that the present is coming, but Patrick will not listen. Finally, the chocolate balloon arrives. It is enormous. It is amazing, and Patrick immediately forgets all his anger. He is thrilled with the present. Everything is fine. And looking back at how upset he was, how much chaos he caused over nothing, it is funny. It is absurd. This episode shows that sometimes your problems are not as big as they feel in the moment. Sometimes you get upset over things that turn out to be misunderstandings. And being able to laugh at yourself after the fact, being able to see the absurdity of your overreaction, is the healthy way to cope. SpongeBob does not hold a grudge against Patrick for destroying the carnival. He does not stay mad. He just laughs it off. He moves on. And that ability to let go, to not take every conflict so seriously, makes his life easier. In the episode Squeaky Boots, Mr. Krabs feels guilty for not giving SpongeBob a gift, so he gives SpongeBob a pair of boots. But these boots squeak with every step, and the squeaking drives Mr. Krabs insane. He hears it everywhere. He cannot escape it. It follows him constantly. Mr. Krabs becomes more and more obsessed with the squeaking. He starts hallucinating. He thinks he hears the boots even when SpongeBob is not around. His guilt and anxiety manifest as this constant squeaking sound, and eventually, he has a complete breakdown. He confesses everything to SpongeBob, and SpongeBob just laughs. He is not upset that Mr. Krabs gave him a cheap pair of boots. He is not hurt that the gift was insincere. He just thinks the whole situation is funny. He thinks it is funny that Mr. Krabs went crazy over squeaky boots. This response shows emotional resilience. SpongeBob could have been offended. He could have felt disrespected, but instead, he chooses to find humor in the situation. He chooses to laugh rather than be hurt. And that choice protects his emotional well-being. In the episode Pressure, SpongeBob and his friends compete with Sandy to see who is better, land creatures or sea creatures. They start doing challenges. They try to prove their respective superiority, and the competition gets intense. Eventually, they all end up on land. SpongeBob and his friends start drying out. They need water. They are in real danger. And Sandy realizes she pushed things too far. She helps them get back to the ocean. Everyone is safe. The competition is over. But instead of being angry about almost dying, instead of blaming Sandy, everyone just laughs about it. They make jokes. They acknowledge how silly the whole competition was. They recognize that they let their egos create a dangerous situation, and they use humor to diffuse the tension. This shows that humor can heal conflicts. When everyone is able to laugh at themselves, when everyone can admit they were being ridiculous, it becomes easier to forgive and move forward. The humor creates perspective. It reminds everyone that their friendship is more important than being right. In the episode Dying for Pie, Squidward accidentally gives SpongeBob a pie that he thinks is explosive. He believes SpongeBob is going to die, and Squidward feels terrible about it. He decides to give SpongeBob the best last day ever. He does everything SpongeBob wants to do, but all the things SpongeBob wants to do are incredibly annoying. He wants to play boring games. He wants to do childish activities, and Squidward has to go along with it because he thinks SpongeBob is dying. He suffers through an entire day of SpongeBob's favorite things. At the end of the day, SpongeBob does not die. The pie was not actually explosive. Squidward suffered for nothing. And when Squidward realizes this, he is not relieved. He is angry. He wasted his whole day. But then the pie actually does explode, and Squidward gets caught in the blast. The whole episode is darkly funny. It is about death and guilt and suffering. But it treats these heavy topics with humor. It finds the comedy in Squidward's suffering. It finds the irony in the situation. And that humor makes the episode enjoyable instead of depressing. In the episode Just One Bite, Squidward insists that he hates Krabby Patties. He says they are disgusting. He refuses to try them. But SpongeBob knows that Squidward is lying. SpongeBob knows that everyone loves Krabby Patties. Eventually, Squidward tries a Krabby Patty in secret, and he loves it. He becomes obsessed with them. He sneaks into the Krusty Krab at night to eat more. He cannot get enough. And when SpongeBob catches him, Squidward is humiliated. But SpongeBob does not shame him. SpongeBob just laughs. He thinks it is funny that Squidward pretended to hate something he actually loved. He thinks it is funny that Squidward was sneaking around. And his lighthearted response makes Squidward feel less embarrassed. This shows that humor can reduce shame. When someone laughs with you instead of at you. When someone treats your embarrassing moment as funny rather than pathetic, it takes the sting out of it. It makes the struggle easier to bear. In the episode Rock Bottom, SpongeBob gets lost in a strange part of the ocean. Everything is confusing. He cannot understand the language. He cannot figure out the bus schedule. He is scared and alone. This is a genuinely difficult situation, but even in the middle of this struggle, SpongeBob finds moments of humor. He makes jokes to himself. He does silly things. He does not let the stress completely overwhelm him. He maintains his personality even when things are hard. And this is important. Using humor to cope does not mean pretending everything is fine. It means finding small moments of lightness even in dark situations. It means not losing yourself completely to fear or stress. In the episode Survival of the Idiots, SpongeBob and Patrick sneak into Sandy's house while she is hibernating. They are not supposed to be there, and Sandy, in her hibernating state, is dangerous. She attacks them. She thinks they are intruders. SpongeBob and Patrick spend the entire episode running from Sandy, getting beaten up, and trying to escape. It is painful. It is scary. But it is also funny. They brought this on themselves. They ignored the warning signs, and now they are paying the consequences in the most ridiculous way possible. The humor in this episode comes from the absurdity of the situation. Two idiots wake up a hibernating squirrel and suffer the obvious consequences. And while the characters are struggling, the audience can laugh. The humor provides distance from the pain. In the episode Wet Painters, Mr. Krabs tells SpongeBob and Patrick to paint his house, but he warns them that they absolutely cannot get paint on anything except the walls. He makes this very clear. He threatens them with terrible consequences if they make a mess. Of course, SpongeBob and Patrick immediately get a tiny drop of paint on Mr. Krabs' first dollar. This is the thing Mr. Krabs values most, and they panic. They spend the entire episode trying to clean it off. They try everything. Nothing works. They become more and more desperate. The whole situation is stressful for them. But it is also funny. The audience knows that the paint is water-based. The audience knows it will come off easily. But SpongeBob and Patrick did not know this, so their panic is both genuine and absurd. When Mr. Krabs finally shows them that the paint comes off with spit, when he reveals that they were freaking out over nothing, they can laugh about it. All that stress was unnecessary. All that worry was pointless. And being able to laugh at their own panic helps them release the tension. This is the lesson about using humor to cope. Life is full of struggles. Some are big, some are small. Some are serious, some are silly. But in almost every situation, there is room for humor. There is room to laugh at yourself. There is room to find absurdity. And that humor does not make the problems go away, but it makes them easier to handle. It gives you perspective. It reminds you that not everything is a catastrophe. It helps you stay balanced when things go wrong. So use humor to cope with struggles. Laugh at yourself. Find the comedy in bad situations. Do not take every problem so seriously. And remember that being able to laugh, even when things are hard, is a strength, not a weakness. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Humor helps you handle struggles, but balancing joy with responsibility determines how sustainable your happiness becomes. Section 11. Balance fun with responsibility. SpongeBob SquarePants loves to have fun. He plays games, he goes jellyfishing, he hangs out with Patrick. He enjoys life. But he also takes his responsibilities seriously. He shows up to work on time. He does his job well. He takes care of Gary. He pays his bills. And this balance is what makes him functional. This is the 11th lesson SpongeBob teaches. Balance fun with responsibility. Enjoy life, but do not neglect your duties. Be playful, but also be reliable. You can be cheerful and responsible at the same time. They are not opposites. In the episode Missing Identity, SpongeBob loses his name tag. He is very upset about this. The name tag is part of his uniform. It represents his job. It represents his identity as a Krusty Krab employee. And even though losing a name tag might seem like a small thing, SpongeBob treats it seriously. He searches everywhere for it. He retraces his steps. He asks everyone if they have seen it. And while he is searching, he tells the story of his day. He explains everything he did. And through this story, you see how SpongeBob balances fun and responsibility. He went to work. He did his job. But he also had fun along the way. He enjoyed serving customers. He made jokes with Patrick. He experienced joy while also fulfilling his obligations. And this balance is what allowed him to have a good day even before he lost the name tag. Eventually, SpongeBob finds the name tag. It was stuck to his shirt the whole time. He was worrying for nothing. But the search itself showed his character. He cared enough about his job to be upset about losing part of his uniform. He took his responsibilities seriously, even though he is generally a playful person. This episode shows that being fun-loving does not mean being irresponsible. SpongeBob is one of the most cheerful characters on television, but he is also one of the most reliable employees at the Krusty Krab. These two aspects of his personality work together, not against each other. In the episode Arg, Mr. Krabs becomes obsessed with a board game about finding treasure. He plays it constantly, and then he decides to take SpongeBob and Patrick on a real treasure hunt. He uses the game as a guide. He follows the game's instructions exactly. At first, this seems fun. They are going on an adventure. They are searching for treasure. SpongeBob and Patrick are excited. But then Mr. Krabs takes it too far. He becomes so focused on finding the treasure that he forgets about everything else. He forgets about the restaurant. He forgets about his responsibilities. He abandons common sense in pursuit of the game. Eventually, they get lost. They run out of food. They are stranded in the middle of nowhere. And Mr. Krabs realizes he made a mistake. He let fun overtake responsibility. He let a game distract him from reality. And now they are all suffering the consequences. SpongeBob and Patrick, on the other hand, maintained better balance. They had fun during the treasure hunt. They enjoyed the adventure, but they also knew when to stop. They recognized that the game was just a game. They did not lose sight of what actually mattered. This episode teaches that fun becomes problematic when it makes you neglect important things. Going on a treasure hunt is fine. Playing games is fine. But abandoning your job, putting people in danger, and losing touch with reality is not fine. There has to be a limit. There has to be balance. In the episode Employee of the Month, SpongeBob has won Employee of the Month many times in a row. He is proud of this. But he does not let this success make him lazy. He does not rest on his achievements. Every single month, he works just as hard as he did the month before. When Squidward decides to compete for Employee of the Month, SpongeBob takes the competition seriously. He works even harder. He shows up even earlier. He stays even later. And while this might seem excessive, it shows SpongeBob's commitment to his responsibilities. But the episode also shows the danger of taking responsibility too far. SpongeBob and Squidward become so obsessed with winning that they sabotage each other. They stop sleeping. They stop eating. They make themselves miserable. And eventually, they both lose because they forgot the point of being a good employee. Being a good employee means serving customers well. It means doing quality work. It does not mean destroying your health or sabotaging your coworkers. SpongeBob learns this lesson. He realizes that responsibility is important, but it should not consume your entire life. There has to be room for rest. There has to be room for balance. In the episode Culture Shock, Squidward organizes a talent show at the Krusty Krab. He wants to showcase his own talent, but he also needs other people to perform. So SpongeBob volunteers to mop the stage between acts. This is not a glamorous job. This is not a fun job, but it is a necessary job. SpongeBob could have asked to be a performer. He could have demanded a spotlight, but instead, he accepts the behind-the-scenes role. He takes responsibility for keeping the stage clean, and he does this job with the same enthusiasm he brings to everything else. During the show, all the performers are terrible. Squidward's act is pretentious and boring. The audience hates it. But then SpongeBob comes out to mop the stage, and his mopping routine becomes the highlight of the show. People love it. They cheer for him, and SpongeBob becomes the star without even trying. This episode shows that fulfilling your responsibilities well can bring its own rewards. SpongeBob was not trying to steal the show. He was just doing his job. But because he did that job with enthusiasm and creativity, people appreciated it. His sense of responsibility and his sense of fun merged into something special. In the episode Squid's Day Off, Mr. Krabs leaves Squidward in charge of the Krusty Krab. Squidward immediately decides to slack off. He tells SpongeBob to run the restaurant while he relaxes. This is Squidward choosing fun over responsibility. He sees an opportunity to avoid work, and he takes it. But SpongeBob does the opposite. He continues working hard even though nobody is watching him. He does not need supervision to be responsible. He does not need Mr. Krabs standing over him to do a good job. He just does it because that is who he is. Meanwhile, Squidward cannot actually relax. He keeps worrying that SpongeBob is messing things up. He keeps sneaking back to check on him, and every time he checks, SpongeBob is doing everything perfectly. SpongeBob is being completely responsible. This episode shows the contrast between SpongeBob and Squidward. Squidward sees responsibility as a burden. He avoids it whenever possible. He only works when he has to. But SpongeBob sees responsibility as part of life. He does not fight against it. He embraces it. And this makes him more reliable and, ironically, happier. In the episode Karate Choppers, SpongeBob loves karate. He practices it with Sandy all the time. But his karate hobby starts interfering with his work. He practices during his shift. He gets distracted. He neglects his responsibilities at the Krusty Krab. Mr. Krabs notices this. He tells SpongeBob that he needs to choose between karate and his job. He cannot do both if karate is going to make him a bad employee. And SpongeBob has to make a decision. SpongeBob chooses his job. He gives up karate because his responsibility to the Krusty Krab is more important. This is a hard choice. Karate makes him happy, but being irresponsible at work goes against his values. So he makes the sacrifice. Of course, Mr. Krabs eventually realizes that karate actually makes SpongeBob a better employee. The physical activity keeps him energized. The discipline improves his focus. So Mr. Krabs changes his mind and lets SpongeBob do karate again. But the important lesson remains. SpongeBob was willing to give up something he loved to fulfill his responsibilities. This shows the kind of balance that matters. Fun is important, hobbies are important, but responsibilities come first. If your hobbies make you unreliable, if they make you neglect important duties, then you need to adjust. You need to find a way to enjoy life without abandoning your obligations. In the episode Patrick's Smart Pants, Patrick becomes intelligent after falling off a cliff and hitting his head. Suddenly, Patrick understands complex concepts. He can solve problems. He acts mature and responsible. And at first, this seems like a good thing. But SpongeBob misses the old Patrick. He misses his fun-loving, irresponsible friend. And this creates tension between them. Smart Patrick looks down on SpongeBob. He thinks SpongeBob is childish. He thinks fun is a waste of time. He has gone too far in the direction of responsibility. Eventually, Patrick gets hit on the head again and goes back to normal. He goes back to being silly and fun. And SpongeBob is relieved. He realizes that he does not want a friend who is all responsibility and no joy. He wants Patrick to be himself, even if that means Patrick is not always responsible. This episode shows that balance can tip too far in either direction. Being all fun and no responsibility makes you unreliable. But being all responsibility and no fun makes you miserable. You need both. You need to take your duties seriously while also enjoying life. In the episode Driven to Tears, Patrick gets his driver's license on his first try. Meanwhile, SpongeBob has failed the driving test hundreds of times. This creates jealousy. SpongeBob is happy for Patrick, but he is also frustrated. He has been trying so hard for so long, and Patrick succeeds immediately without even caring. But despite his jealousy, SpongeBob continues going to boating school. He continues taking the test. He does not give up on his responsibility to learn how to drive safely. He could have said that licenses do not matter. He could have driven illegally, but he does not do that. He keeps trying to do it the right way. This shows that responsibility sometimes means persisting, even when it is frustrating. Even when other people succeed more easily than you. Even when you feel discouraged. SpongeBob wants to have fun driving around like Patrick, but he knows he needs to earn his license first. He knows he needs to be responsible. In the episode Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 4, SpongeBob accidentally shrinks Mermaid Man with a shrinking belt. This is a big problem. Mermaid Man is tiny, and SpongeBob is responsible for fixing it. He tries everything to make Mermaid Man big again, but nothing works. Eventually, SpongeBob has to admit what he did. He has to face the consequences. He cannot just run away or pretend it did not happen. He has to take responsibility for his mistake. And this is hard. Admitting you messed up is always hard. But it is the responsible thing to do. This episode shows that responsibility includes owning your mistakes. It includes facing consequences. It includes trying to make things right even when it is difficult. SpongeBob did not mean to shrink Mermaid Man. It was an accident. But he still takes responsibility for fixing it. In the episode The Algae's Always Greener, Plankton uses a machine to switch lives with Mr. Krabs. He wants to see what it is like to run the Krusty Krab. He thinks it will be easy. He thinks he will finally be successful. But running the restaurant is actually very hard. There are constant problems. Customers are demanding. Employees need supervision. Things break. And Plankton cannot handle it. He does not have the sense of responsibility that Mr. Krabs has. He only wanted the success, not the work that comes with it. Meanwhile, SpongeBob continues being a good employee even with Plankton as his boss. He continues showing up. He continues doing his job. His sense of responsibility does not depend on who is in charge. He is reliable no matter what. This episode shows that responsibility is not conditional. You do not get to be responsible only when it is convenient. You do not get to be reliable only when you feel like it. Responsibility is a constant. It is part of who you are. SpongeBob shows you how to balance fun with responsibility. He enjoys his life. He plays games. He has adventures. He laughs. He celebrates. But he also shows up to work. He takes care of his pet. He fulfills his obligations. He does what he is supposed to do. And these two sides of his personality do not conflict. They complement each other. His fun nature makes his work more enjoyable. His sense of responsibility makes his fun more sustainable. He can have both because he understands balance. So balance fun with responsibility. Enjoy your life, but do not neglect your duties. Be playful, but also be reliable. Take your obligations seriously without losing your sense of joy. And remember that the best life is one where you can be both happy and responsible at the same time. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Balancing joy with duty creates a sustainable life. But understanding how all these lessons work together reveals their true power. Section 12, Lessons into Practice. How SpongeBob Can Change Your Life. SpongeBob SquarePants is a cartoon about a talking sponge who lives in a pineapple under the sea. That is the premise. That is what it looks like on the surface. But underneath that silly premise, underneath the bright colors and the absurd humor, there is something deeper. There are lessons. There is wisdom. There is a philosophy for how to live. This is the final section. Here we bring all the lessons together. We look at how they connect. We understand how SpongeBob's approach to life forms a complete worldview. And we figure out how you can apply these lessons to your own life. The first lesson was finding joy in the everyday. SpongeBob wakes up every morning excited to flip Krabby Patties. He treats his ordinary job like it matters. He finds happiness in routine tasks. And this lesson is foundational because it changes how you experience most of your life. Most of your life is not spent doing extraordinary things. Most of your life is spent doing ordinary things. Going to work, doing chores, running errands, completing tasks. If you can only be happy during special occasions, then you will be unhappy most of the time. But if you can find joy in the everyday, then your whole life becomes better. Think about how much time you spend doing regular tasks. You wake up, you get ready, you go to work or school, you come home, you make dinner, you clean up, you go to bed, and then you do it again the next day. This is the reality of life for most people. It is repetitive, it is routine, and if you hate every minute of it, then you are spending most of your life unhappy. But SpongeBob shows you that it does not have to be that way. You can choose to care about what you are doing. You can choose to find meaning in the tasks. The second lesson was never giving up on your goals. SpongeBob fails his boating test hundreds of times, but he keeps trying. He keeps showing up. He does not let failure stop him. And this lesson teaches you resilience. It teaches you that success is not about being naturally talented. It is about persistence. When you combine these first two lessons, you get something powerful. You get someone who enjoys the process of working toward a goal, not just the achievement of the goal. SpongeBob enjoys going to boating school, even though he keeps failing. The journey itself has value. The effort itself matters. And this perspective makes goals less intimidating. The third lesson was being true to yourself. SpongeBob is weird. He is unusual. He does not fit in. But he does not pretend to be someone else. He accepts who he is. And this authenticity makes his other lessons possible. If SpongeBob was constantly trying to be normal, he could not find joy in flipping burgers. His authenticity is what allows him to live according to his values. When you combine authenticity with the previous lessons, you get someone who pursues goals that actually matter to them. Not goals that society says they should want. Not goals that will impress other people. Goals that align with who they really are. And this makes success more meaningful. The fourth lesson was valuing friendships. SpongeBob invests time in his relationships. He shows up for his friends. He forgives them when they make mistakes. He supports them through difficulties. And these friendships give his life meaning. They give him people to share his joy with. They give him support when things are hard. When you combine friendship with the previous lessons, you get a life that is both personally fulfilling and socially connected. You are not pursuing happiness alone. You are building it with other people. You are creating a community, and that community makes everything else better. Loneliness is one of the biggest problems people face. SpongeBob understands this. He values his relationships as much as he values his work. The fifth lesson was embracing enthusiasm and work pride. SpongeBob cares about his job. He takes it seriously. He wants to do good work. And this pride gives him purpose. It gives him something to be good at. It gives him a way to contribute. When you combine work pride with the previous lessons, you get someone who has found their place in the world. They know what they are good at. They know how they contribute. They have a role, and that role gives them stability and identity. Work is not just about making money. Work is about contributing something. SpongeBob is a fry cook at a fast food restaurant, but he approaches that job with pride, and that pride makes the job worthwhile. The sixth lesson was keeping an open mind. SpongeBob accepts strange situations. He gives people chances. He tries new things. He does not judge before understanding. And this openness makes his life richer. It exposes him to experiences he would have missed. When you combine open-mindedness with the previous lessons, you get someone who is constantly growing. They are not stuck in their ways. They are not closed off to new information. They can change, they can adapt, they can learn. SpongeBob stays curious, he stays open, and that openness allows him to have experiences that a more rigid person would never have. The seventh lesson was learning from mistakes. SpongeBob fails constantly, but he does not let those failures define him. He acknowledges them, he figures out what went wrong, and he tries to do better next time. This creates a growth mindset. It turns failures into information instead of judgments. When you combine learning from mistakes with the previous lessons, you get someone who is not afraid to try difficult things. Because even if they fail, they will learn something. Failure stops being scary. It becomes part of the process. Everyone makes mistakes. The difference between people who succeed and people who do not is how they respond to those failures. SpongeBob always chooses to learn. He always chooses to improve. The eighth lesson was helping others, even if it is hard. SpongeBob is kind to people who do not deserve it. He helps people who are mean to him. He offers assistance even when it costs him something. And this generosity makes him a positive force in the world. It makes other people's lives better. When you combine helping others with the previous lessons, you get someone whose happiness extends beyond themselves. They are not just pursuing their own joy, they are creating joy for others. And that creates a ripple effect. Helping people is not always easy. Sometimes it requires sacrifice. But SpongeBob does it anyway. He helps because it is the right thing to do. The ninth lesson was finding fun and wonder in life. SpongeBob approaches each day like it is an adventure. He uses his imagination. He plays. He treats ordinary moments as special. And this sense of wonder makes life feel rich and full. It prevents boredom. It prevents cynicism. When you combine wonder with the previous lessons, you get someone who never loses their spark. They stay curious. They stay engaged. They do not become jaded or bitter. Children are naturally good at finding wonder, but as people grow up, they often lose this ability. SpongeBob never loses this. He maintains his childlike wonder while also being responsible. The 10th lesson was using humor to cope with struggles. SpongeBob laughs at himself. He finds absurdity in bad situations. He does not take everything so seriously. And this humor provides perspective. It helps him handle stress. It keeps him from being overwhelmed by problems. When you combine humor with the previous lessons, you get someone who can handle adversity without breaking. They can face difficulties without losing their joy. Life is full of problems, but in almost every situation, there is room for humor. And that humor helps you cope. It helps you maintain perspective. The 11th lesson was balancing fun with responsibility. SpongeBob enjoys life, but he also fulfills his obligations. He plays, but he also works. He has fun, but he also shows up. And this balance makes his happiness sustainable. It prevents him from being irresponsible. It prevents him from burning out. When you combine balance with all the previous lessons, you get a complete philosophy for living. You get someone who has joy, resilience, authenticity, connection, purpose, growth, generosity, wonder, perspective, and stability. You get someone who is living well. Now, you might be thinking that SpongeBob is just a cartoon character. He does not have real problems. He does not have bills to pay or health issues to deal with, or complicated relationships to navigate. And you would be right. SpongeBob's life is simpler than real life, but the lessons still apply. You can find joy in everyday tasks, even when those tasks are harder than flipping burgers. You can persist toward goals, even when the obstacles are bigger than a boating test. You can be authentic, even when society pressures you to conform. You can value friendships, even when relationships are complicated. The point is not that you should be exactly like SpongeBob. The point is that you can learn from his approach. You can adopt the mindset. You can apply the principles. You can choose to see the world the way he sees it. And when you do that, when you start applying these lessons, your life changes. It does not change overnight. It does not become perfect, but it becomes better. You become more resilient. You become more joyful. You become more connected. You become more at peace. Think about what your life would look like if you applied these lessons. If you found joy in your daily routine. If you kept trying even after failures. If you stopped pretending to be someone you are not. If you invested in your friendships. If you took pride in your work. If you stayed open to new experiences. If you learned from your mistakes. If you helped others. If you found wonder in ordinary moments. If you used humor to cope with stress. If you balanced enjoyment with responsibility. Your life would be different. Not perfect, not problem-free, but different, better, more meaningful, more sustainable, more joyful. And that is what SpongeBob SquarePants teaches you. Not that life is easy, not that you should ignore problems, but that you can choose how you approach life. You can choose your attitude. You can choose your perspective. You can choose your values. SpongeBob chooses optimism. He chooses kindness. He chooses enthusiasm. He chooses growth. And those choices create a life worth living. They create a life that, despite its challenges, is fundamentally good. You can make those same choices. You can adopt that same mindset. You can apply those same lessons. And when you do, you will find that a cartoon about a talking sponge has more wisdom than you expected. You will find that the lessons are real, and you will find that they actually work. So take these lessons with you. Remember them. Apply them. Let SpongeBob inspire you to live better. Let his joy remind you that happiness is possible. Let his resilience remind you that failure is not the end. Let his authenticity remind you to be yourself. Let his friendships remind you to invest in people. Let his work ethic remind you to take pride in what you do. Let his openness remind you to stay curious. Let his growth remind you that mistakes are teachers. Let his generosity remind you to help others. Let his wonder remind you to stay playful. Let his humor remind you not to take everything so seriously. And let his balance remind you that you can have both joy and responsibility. These lessons can change your life, not because they are complicated, but because they are simple. Not because they are new, but because they are true. Not because they come from a profound philosopher, but because they come from a character who embodies them completely. SpongeBob SquarePants is more than a cartoon. It is a guide for how to live. And if you let it, it can teach you how to approach each day with enthusiasm, resilience, and joy. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.